wing towards Smith. Nearly takes it. Bill Chambers at the 4. Does beautifully in traffic. Gets space, but then he gets his kick smothered by Cox Goodger. Ponting back to Cox Goodger from 55. Let's fly, Cox Goodger. This will be close. Trups there. Hands on the ball there. The North Launceston player knocking it through for a behind. Scores level, 2 behinds apiece. 12 and a half minutes, quarter number 1 here at UTAS Stadium.
So Wiggins with the ball, about to bring it back into play for Lauderdale. Runs his 15 metres and then kicks it towards the broadcasting side of the ground. Smith is the target yet again. They've gone in the Smith direction every time they've got it. It's going to be a workload and a half for him today. Taken away here by Foon of North. Lovely weighted pass and he gets it into Cox Goodger, who swings onto his preferred, the left boot. Kicks it towards the top of the square down there looking for low, but it comes off all hands over the back. Running onto it there was the little fella in Watley. And he snapped inside out and through for a minor score. So it's 2 points to Lauderdale, 3 points to North Launceston. It's just a 1 point margin. Not a goal kick in the game so far. As Lauderdale from the kick in will move the ball on the railway side of the ground. The kick comes towards McGuinness. He stumbles a little, then sockets it off the ground about 40 or 50 metres. And North Launceston with a nice mark on the half back there to Rick de Solder. Swings onto his left boot. Kicks in towards Bannister, punched away from him to the boundary line. There'll be a throw in 30 metres around from the behind post. North Launceston kicking to the town end in this opening quarter. Very little breeze to speak of. What there is would probably be just favouring that end. But the windsocks on the far side of the ground almost laying straight down, or dropping straight down I should say, probably not laying. As Smith's in there doing the work again. As I mentioned, there's going to be a big workload for him, taken by McManus. He kicks it to nowhere in particular. Taken by Barton McCulloch, who's right down the centre of the ground. Gets it off to Egger. Egger now with a kick towards the top of the goal square. Almost a mark down there to the North Launceston player flying above the pack. But it's gone to ground level and the umpires found a free kick for holding the ball at the base of the pack. And it'll be a Lauderdale kick in the last line of defence, and it's Ryan Wiggins to take it.
That was Billy Edmonds, Barry. We saw him in the Friday night game a few weeks ago. He's just come back from interstate. And a good acquisition to the North forward line, number 63. As a long kick comes out. Taken over the back now by Fletcher Bennett. Handball defensively. Little kick by Jaden Harris to Egger. Now the hands inside 50 from Curran. Chance here for North Launceston. The numbers though with Lauderdale. Here's Jeremiah Perkins. Has a bit of time. Gets around his opponent in low. Then he gets his kick smothered by Cocker, who's working hard. Cocker lays the tackle. Play on. Snap for goal this time by Edmonds is offline. I'll tell you what, there's some forward line offensive pressure there from Lockie Cocker a couple of times. Led to a scoring opportunity. 1 behind. So it's 4 behinds to 2. Bit of a soccer score here at the moment. And Bell Chambers. Nice kick. Beautifully weighted. Marks taken by Raglione, former Clarence player. Rangers easing a little touch here at UTAS Stadium. Raglione, nice long kick in the conditions. Edmonds there again, flies high. Little tap from Bennett. As it's shoveled out of bounds by Jay Foon, who's been prominent in the first quarter. It's given deliberate against him. Probably a good call. He tried to disguise it, but he didn't only have one intention there to Jay Foon. That was to get it out of play. Bryce Walsh, recipient. Kicks towards half forward. Nice spoil there by Van Buren. Falls to Burge. Burge now, quick kick. Inside 50, first for a while for Lauderdale. Connie Young sees it out of bounds. 4 behinds to 2. Wet conditions here at UTAS Stadium. The winner today will go to the top of the TSL ladder. It's the only time they'll meet in the north this year, these two teams. The return match is at Lauderdale, and the finals, of course, will be down south. As Bell Chambers tries to break clear. No one can take clear possession. North Launceston player dives on the ball. Be another stoppage. Half time at the Twin Ovals. 36 Tigers, 34 Glenorchy. Tigers would love a top 3 scalp in this season. Their finals position is about assured now as Lauderdale player tries to break free and we'll get another ball up. Still about 30 metres out from Lauderdale's goal. Half time. We'll have the coach, Dean Smith, of the North Launceston TSLW team. They play here against Clarence later on today. McManus is tackled and he was held on to, says the umpire. So Robbie McManus will go back from about 30 out, 45 degree angle. Maybe a bit more than that, but we're right behind it, those watching the stream. And an opportunity now for the first goal for Lauderdale. Rangers gets a little bit heavier again. A couple of shots so far today, Lauderdale, which they may have converted. And this is a really good opportunity. Goals will be like diamonds today in these conditions. Robbie McManus takes his full 30 seconds. In he comes. Nice kick off the boot, and that's the first goal of the game to Lauderdale. Through the agency of Robbie McManus. Recipient of a free kick, and they're off and running Lauderdale. 1-8, leading North Launceston 4 behinds, 4 points. Barry.
And both sides, their defence is working overtime at the moment, Dave, and the umpires are doing a terrific job, I believe, because they're paying very obvious free kicks today. They're not just letting the ball go when it breaks out. They're playing the free kicks, and that's getting it out of the packs. Interesting that Lauderdale had the ball on their forward line for the first 6 or 7 minutes, and then there was 10 minutes or so North Launceston, and what happens on numerous occasions is that North peppered away at the goals. They kick 4 behinds, ball goes straight down the other end of the ground, and there's Robbie McManus kicks a major for Lauderdale. And a tap down now, Lee back in the ruck, and he got the ruck down that time. There's been a free kick again to Ponding. As we said, the umpire's doing a good job, and there's the kick out wide here now, looking for Cocker, and the young fella kicks. Well, it almost didn't hit his boot. It slid through, gone just inside 50. Anderton takes it, gets the handball off to a teammate. Hurried kick out of defence there, just ricochets off a Lauderdale chest. North Launceston now have the ball somehow through low, and the ball now's been repelled by Lauderdale across half-back. It's swung out here towards the broadcasting side of the ground. Taking it there now is Bennett, who twists and turns and puts it onto the right boot, and he kicks it straight back into Anderton, who marks beautifully just inside the defensive zone for Lauderdale. Started off extremely well in the back line he has, and there's his left foot kick out of defence, but he hasn't got a great deal on offer. It comes off to Raglione, who kicks it with the left boot under pressure. The umpire finds another free kick, and it goes the way of North Launceston on centre wing on the broadcasting side of the ground. Connor Young is the recipient of that free kick. Young now kicks deep in towards the half-forward line. No targets down there. 2 Lauderdale fellas fight one another. Ball goes to one of their teammates, but he's set upon by 2 North Launceston forward line players, and they hold him and the ball in. The umpire will bounce it down just outside 50. North Launceston going to the town end in this opening quarter. Siddons takes the ball, can't get it to his boot. Now it's taken away nicely there by Saunders. He kicks it with the right boot towards centre wing. Ball's punched away from the big tall Ben McGuinness, and it goes across just in front of interchange, and there'll be a throw in right on the interchange area. North Launceston looking to swing the changes here as 3 or 4 players looking to come back onto the ground as the ball's thrown in now, and it's Lee who gets the tap down. He's starting to get a little bit better in the ruck. He was being beaten early by Smith. Ends up with Ponding. The ball was smothered off his boot. Finishes back there with Siggins. He puts it onto the right boot and then kicks in towards half forward. Or the ball was dropped back there by Baker, but the handball over the top on towards Sanders, and Sanders kicks from 30 metres out deep in the forward pocket, and that's a major. Lauderdale kicked their second goal of the game at the 20.5-minute mark of the opening term. They're 2 goals, 2. That'll be 14. North Launceston 4 behinds, and a very good opening quarter shaping up here now for the Lauderdale team.
Alex Saunders there, getting that first goal. And, of course, he had a standout game in the under-25 games recently here at UTAS Stadium. Been consistent all year. Boy from Gippsland. And that was a beautifully finished there. So, Lauderdale now is taking a bit of a stranglehold on this game. 2-2-14 to 0-4-4. Back in the middle. And as we said at the outset here, any lead today will be significant in these conditions. They're not going to get any better as the day goes on. Kick by Curran, 50, repelled by Lauderdale. Kick out here towards the CT stand side with Josh Williams, who can't keep it in. Happy to see it over.
Late addition into the side, Williams.
Yep, Nat Franklin was the late. So I don't think we mentioned that. So Nat Franklin was the late out there. So boundary throw in. As Hayden Smith gets it down towards Alex Davies, who thought he got one high, played for it, but umpire says no.
He got one high all right, but the umpire was in behind the pack and couldn't see it. Yep. We could see it this side because we had perfect view. So ball up right in front of us here, the broadcast position. Out here towards Saunders again. And he knocks it
Sorry, it's Bill Chambers, beg your pardon. Knocks it out of bounds. Boundary throw in.
Look alike, don't they, those two players?
Both good players, and Lauderdale recruited really well this year. With the likes of Trupp and Burge and Saunders. It's really added to their squad. And they'll want to get that premiership this year in the TSL. They've missed out the last 2 years. Just possessed there, North Launceston. Bill Chambers can't take it. Is wrestling off the ball with Walsh and Ponting. How does the umpire see this? It's going to go to Bryce Walsh. Wins the battle of the 23s. Here he goes. Pumps it inside 50. Knocked away. Out of bounds. 60 out from Lauderdale's goal. Quarters won't be long today. 22 minutes and 50 seconds gone. North Launceston won the curtain raiser today, 91-74 in the Mercury Cup. Boundary throw in, front position, Hayden Smith. Wins it out nicely. Little handball out now to Tepper on his right. Kicks a mid-distance kick up here towards Bannister in a wrestle there with Gilby. Gilby playing down back at the moment. One of the leading goal kickers in the TSL. There's Gilby again. The former Gold Coast son. Kicks it off the ground. Tunnel ball it is. Ends up with Lee, who just kicks off a step. Hope for the best. Egger can't take the mark. Taken though by Bell Chambers. Let's fly inside 50. Marking contest. Doing well as Van Buren against Elliott. Two former Northwest Coasters there. Van Buren goes wide. They're looking for Heavey. Heavey handballs off the ground to Williams. Little kick. Doesn't go the required distance. Flying there was McManus. Back to Heavey. Now we're going to whistle on play. Player legged. Comes back to McManus. Pumps it inside 50. Elliott front position. Flies against 2. Van Buren at spill. There's Jack Avent. Little handball away. That's Fletcher Bennett. Handball through traffic to Van Buren. Standing firm. The North back line. Big Torp only as far as McManus. Knocked up getting kicks in this first quarter. Kicks it inside 50. Mark to Saunders. Nearly paid, I'd reckon. Handball line out to Van Buren. Can't get rid of it there. Out it comes to Siggins. Little handball to Elliott. Short distance kick. Sweeping back there is Davies, who fumbles at the last moment.
Nick.
Then he gets one high. So he'll take the free kick just in front of the defensive goal square for North Launceston. They trail by 10 points.
Well, every pitcher tells a story. He was somewhat fortunate there. He dropped what he should have taken. He bent over to pick it up and was tackled too high from the Lauderdale player that was coming in to pursue him. And there's the free kick for North Launceston out of defence now. Lee's the target. Big fella only puts one hand up and then thumps it down. Taken away there by Event, and it goes on a little bit further to Cox Goodger. Gets it over wider to Richter Solder. Left boot out of defence. Not a great deal on offer, and he's kicked it about 60 or 70 metres. Ends up with Anderton, who's been under the pump down the back and doing a great job. Handballs back to Trupp. He kicks it out of defence, and Lauderdale ready to set something up again through Josh Williams on the far side of the ground. Kicks it on a little bit further, looking for one of the better players in McManus, but it's too long for him. It dribbles to the boundary line. It'll go across the line. There'll be a throw in on centre wing, railway side of the ground as the rain really starts to settle in now.
Yeah, it's getting heavy out. We're not far away from quarter time. 25 and a half minutes gone. See the tram in the background there, Bess?
Yeah, it brings back memories, Dave.
Yep.
The old windsock, there's absolutely no wind whatsoever at the moment. Now the rain started to tumble down, so there'd be nothing to blow it away. You wouldn't think immediately. Ends up back with Siddons, who's been a good player for Lauderdale in the first quarter. Kicks it inside, half forward. Cox Goodger starting to step his workload up a lot now for North. Kicks it out of defence. Kicks it deep towards the outer side there towards Harris. Ball goes towards ground level. Umpire has found another holding. And as I said, they're doing a great job, I believe, in these conditions, making sure packs are not forming. North Launceston with the ball on the outer wing. Then invited to play on. Kicks towards half forward. It's 3-1. Comes off the top of the pack. Ends up with Curran. Kicks a little grubby left footer, and the umpire has found another free kick in there to North Launceston. The siren sounds to end the quarter, and I think
Sharon Egger wants to take it.
I think it's going to be a 50-metre penalty here.
Sharon Egger.
Now, the siren went. Did the umpire blow time off? I didn't actually see that. If he did, now he's going to give a free kick after the time off because the siren is only an indicator to the field umpire time's up. He may not have actually blown time off. So Edgar now with that 50 metres, which is only about 40, brings him to about 30 metres out on an angle of about 15 degrees. North Launceston have not kicked a goal. They'd love this one after the siren to set up a closer encounter at quarter time. Edgar, very deliberate, coming in now. Drops it a little awkwardly. He doesn't like it himself. His body language tells me that it swings to the right and through for a minor score. North Launceston 5 behinds in the opening quarter. Lauderdale 2 goals to 14. So a handy lead under wet, slippery, greasy conditions for Lauderdale at a quarter time, with their goal kickers Robbie McManus and Alex Saunders kicking one apiece.
And of course no goal kickers for North Launceston. So quarter time 2-2-14. Lauderdale leading North Launceston 5 behind 5 points. And we see the replay of a couple of the goals. It was McManus getting that first goal for Lauderdale from a free kick about 30 out. And it was Alex Saunders, of course, with a bit of magic. And we can see it here again, those watching the stream at the moment. He gets the handball there from Baker, and then inside out, beautiful kick, sailed through for the second goal. We'll take a break here on City Park Radio on the live stream just for a minute or so, and we're back in a little while, and the score is 14-5, Lauderdale lead. Welcome back to UTAS Stadium, and it's 5 behind 5 points. North Launceston, the home team, trailing Lauderdale 2-2-14. Goals to McManus and Saunders. Just some team stats to quarter time, and the hit-outs, Lauderdale 15-9. Hayden Smith's done a pretty good job there in the first quarter. It's not a great day for a ruckman, of course, with these slippery conditions. Clearance is pretty even, 9-8. I think both on board brigades there, the Ponting and Cox Goodger, Bryce Walsh and Robbie McManus, they've been really fighting it out there for those midfield battles. Inside 50s, North Launceston had the better of Lauderdale 13-11. Marks inside 50, just the 2 for Lauderdale. And free kicks 10-8 Lauderdale's way. So most of the stats saying it's a fairly even game, but Baz, Lauderdale took the best of those two opportunities that they had.
Yeah, and when you actually look through for better players, there's probably more outstanding players in that quarter for Lauderdale, whereas North Launceston were more an even team, if you like. And they had 10 minutes of the play. From about 7 minutes to the 17-minute mark, they managed about 4 points in that period of time. And Lauderdale looked to be just trying to defend, and then all of a sudden they got the trigger and away they went, kicked a goal, and then they kicked that other goal about 2 or 3 minutes later. And in the last 5 or 6 minutes, it was all Lauderdale again. But their defenders have been playing extremely well. They're holding most of the North Launceston players, goalless. Apart from that, they're keeping them well and truly under wraps as well in that forward line. And then when they do get it into Lauderdale's forward line, they've got a couple of positive targets up there as well. So at the moment, North Launceston, I reckon they're having a fairly tight huddle down here. Chris Say will be able to tell us exactly what's gone on, because I don't think they'd be at all happy with that first quarter, because they allowed Lauderdale for most of that quarter to dictate the terms.
Got some other scores. It's a young town. It's a big clash between South Launceston and Bridgenorth. A big fundraiser up there today as well. And they're 3-1-19 at quarter time apiece. In the independent schools, the Sardis grand final for the girls. So, yep, we've got a grand final already, a grand final day already in footy in Tasmania. And it was the girls from Scotch Oakburn, 9-12-60, defeated Farn School, 1 behind 1 point. And I think SPC earlier in the day, they defeated Hutchins in the seconds there. TSL around the grounds. And good clash at the Twin Ovals between Glenorchy and the Tigers. And at half-time there, it's 5-6-36. The Tigers, Glenorchy 5-4-34. And at Windsor Park, Clarence kicked the first goal, but then Launceston have kicked away to a bit of a lead. 3-1-19. the leading Clarence 1 goal straight 6. And of course, Dylan Riley today, Baz, he's come back for the Blues. Great to see a player of his calibre back in statewide league footy.
Yeah, won their best and fairest last year, and I think he won Devonport's best and fairest a year or two before that. And a great player. It was a terrific focal point for them last year, so they'd really welcome him back into the fold. Look, that'll certainly set them up a little bit better up in their forward line.
We've got Chris Sayer now. He just moved away from the North Launceston huddle, and he's got all the news from Taylor Whitford.
Yes, they really have a plan to, against Lauderdale. You think they would with two top of the table sides, and just watch Alex Lee. He's got a sore knee. I'm not being flippant with the rhyme either. He's really proppy, so he's still taking the field. I know he's coming back to the bench.
Yes,
but just keep an eye on him. I don't know if he's too well. I remember the days when, in the olden days, of course, Barry does too, we used to have stops on our boots. These moulded soles, I think they're keeping their feet pretty well because it's pretty slippery conditions out here.
Certainly is. And what about the rain intensity there, Chris? Is it getting any worse?
No, it's just sort of drizzle. It's really not letting up, and it's not letting down either. It's a constant drizzle. So, it's not that bad, really, but it's just, as I said before, it's a real leveller.
Thanks, Chris. And we did see Alex Lee limping to the boundary there, Baz, and that's a pretty significant blow if he can't come back on the ground.
Yeah, because I thought Smith was well on top for about 17 minutes of that opening quarter, and then the last few minutes, Lee was definitely getting on top, and we mentioned somewhere during the call that under these conditions, the best way for the ruckman is to push the ball well out of the pack, and Lee was doing that, so I thought, well, he's been off, he's been instructed to go out and do it that way, and while Bart McCulloch was doing a bit of ruck work, when he came back on, but obviously he went off because he's probably slightly injured.
Yep, so Hayden Smith, it's been a pretty good battle there, and he's had a great season. And looks like, is that Bart McCulloch, I think, has gone into the ruck, Baz? So he's a logical backup ruckman, and that takes away, of course, from their forward line, although today's not a high marking day, so it might not detract too much.
He kicked, 6 last week, was it?
That's right, down at North Hobart.
Yep.
Second quarter action for City Park Radio. Thanks to Andrew Doyle, our sponsors, Telstra Stores, Quadrant Mall and Kings Meadows. Open 11 to 3 on Sundays. Here's Barry Trivett.
And the ball was missed by both ruckmen. Went to ground level. There's Cox Goodger trying to get boot the ball. It's taken away by Siddons. Puts it onto the right boot and kicks in towards half forward. The tugget was Bell Chambers. He now swoops back on it. Somehow gets boot the ball. It just dribbles inside 50. Opportunity there through Baker. Baker of Lauderdale gets the ball deep in towards the forward pocket, looking for McGuinness, who puts it onto the left boot, and he's just offline and through for a minor score. He's a good target down there. The McGuinness boys are all good players, and he'll revel if they can keep pumping the ball in there quickly like they did on that occasion. Van Bruin now out of defence, runs his good 15 metres and then kicks towards the railway centre wing on the far side of the ground. Ball at ground level, and it goes across the boundary, and there will be a throw in. Oh, no.
Must have played it deliberate, have they?
Must have played deliberate.
No, I can tell you what's happening, Baz, because they're wondering whether it was out of bounds on the full, so they're having a bit of a conference there.
Okay, I thought the other option would be that nobody actually touched it before it went across the boundary line. It's a long way away for us, and I thought, well, perhaps it was a cross when the... now they've decided that...
Boundary throw.
It was touched and there's a boundary throw in. You are correct. Three-way discussion. None of those replays required there. You notice that? The umpires just all gathered together and made a decision. There's the throw-in on the far side, and it's McCulloch and Smith. Smith tries to take it out of the ruck. Lucky he wasn't penalised. Walsh is there again appealing for deliberate. And the field umpire was in behind that pack of players and probably couldn't see exactly what happened. Needs to get to the side a little bit more as the boundary umpire will throw it back in. But Lauderdale players were adamant that the ball went out on the full or was deliberately pushed out. Smith, though, takes it from the tap from the ruck in. Handballs off to Anderton, who tries to kick it. What, did he drop the ball? Yes, he did. We've mentioned already in the first quarter, the umpires are doing a terrific job. I think it was something like, 18 free kicks, was it, in the first quarter? And sometimes that takes a full game to accumulate that many. But the kicking goes to Davies. And that's the way the game should be umpired in slippery conditions. And there's the Davies kick. Goes centre wing, far side of the ground.
That's Edmonds over there, Baz.
That's Edmonds. I'm not used to him yet. I haven't seen him all that much, but he kicks it back in towards Davies. Davies on the centre square, kicks inside 50. Anderton thumps the ball to ground level. It's been socked off the ground by a North Launceston player in the middle of the pack over there. Skids across in front of the goals and out of bounds right alongside of the behind post. North Launceston going to the Invermay Park end. What a beautiful little boutique ground that one is. And I noticed the girls are going to be playing cricket there later on this year, so we look forward to that as the ball's thrown in. It's a ground level again, taken away there by Curran. The ball smothered off the boot. Kick out of defence, goes straight into the waiting arms of Tom Donnelly. And he's generally a pretty good kick of the ball. He's marked it right on 50. He doesn't want to try and kick it. He's found a pass, and it's gone into Bannister, is that? No, that's Lowe. And Lowe has marked at the back of the pack. That was a beautiful way to pass because there was 2 or 3 players hovering in front of him. He made space into the hole behind the pack, and the kick from Donnelly was a beauty, straight over the top. And Cody Lowe, who's a big, strong young man, will have a deliberate shot for goal for the North Launceston Bombers from 30 metres out on an angle of about 10 degrees, favouring the right boot. They haven't kicked a goal yet, but here's an opportunity at 3 minutes into the second term as he comes in now, and he's kicked it straight off the side of the boot and is lucky to sneak through for a minor score. Well, North Launceston just wildering away opportunity after opportunity. They really should be up level with Lauderdale, but take nothing away from the Lauderdale Bombers. They're playing extremely well as the kicking comes in the Smith direction again. Can't take the mark. It's been tried to be shovelled out there. North Launceston's player, and McCulloch puts his right boot to it. There is a kick by a Lauderdale player out of that pack there. Now a bit of a push down there on half forward. The ball gets kicked off the ground again inside 50. Here goes Lauderdale through McGuinness. He gets it off a little bit further there towards Saunders. No, it was Heavey rather. Yep. And Heavey with the right boot slides off the side and out of bounds. There'll be a throw in right alongside of the behind post.
Bit of trivia about Alex Heavey, Baz. He was in the first Lauderdale team that played in the New State League back in the I think it was 2011.
Right.
10, 11.
Yep.
So up at Youngtown, they played South Launceston, and I think he might be the only player, one of the only players remaining from that first team. As McCulloch gets it down, little kick out there from Foon. So Bannister dispossessed, strong tackle there by Wiggins. Little kick off the ground. Wiggins shovels it forward. McManus, beautiful handball to Anderton. And an inside-out kick. Luxa Fortune. Oh, drop mark by Baker there. Would have been a gilt-edge opportunity. Now we've got a high tackle, and it's going to go North Launceston's way. You know, I know no mark is easy in a day like this, but Nick Baker should have snaffled that one up, I think. Good play from Anderton as Cox Goodger goes wide with a switch. Finds Richter Salter. One of the best backmen in the league. Oh, his kick's not great, though. Chopped off there by Ben McGuinness. Now it's with Bell Chambers. Kicks inside 50. Over the back's Baker. Another chance off the ground. Nick Baker. Offline. Across the face. One behind. That's 6 behind North Launceston. Lauderdale 2-4-16. Inside 50 this quarter. 4-2 Lauderdale's way. So it's 15-6, I beg your pardon, the score. The scoreboard was quite quick off the mark there. Now it's with Foon, who cruises across half-back, touches the ball on the ground. Has Richter Salter, if he needs him. Goes to him now. He gets the ball on the bounce. Has to kick quickly, but does well. Finds Van Buren. Boy from Devonport. Goes sideways. Over there towards Event, who spilt the mark, then kicks under pressure. Coughs it up. Kick inside 50 now is a beautiful one to Wish Wilson, who takes the mark in scoring distance.
North's defensive kicking there was terrible, wasn't it? I mean, they'd missed the target, I think, on 3 occasions, one after the other, and it's ended up with a shot at goal for Lauderdale.
So Ethan Wish Wilson has had a fair bit of time out of the team. Back this year from injury. Ethan Wish Wilson, and he comes, 40 out, and he's sprayed it across the face a little bit for one behind. Now, I'll tell you what, Baz, the person who kicked it, and I had to hesitate, Wish Wilson, was actually Big Hayden Smith. For a big fella in these conditions, that pass was just fantastic.
Yep. Taken away here now by North Launceston's Jay Foon as he kicks it out of defence. Oh, it's a live, beautiful long bomb too. It's on centre wing almost on the outer side of the ground. Lauderdale players pushing it back through. It's almost tunnel ball out there at the moment. Something will happen because the umpire has blown the whistle now. He was going to play advantage, and then he realised that the player with the ball was actually about to be tackled. And now the other umpire has taken over, so we'll just work out what's going on here. And I think it's Ponting who's ended up with the free kick anyway. And North content to switch the ball out of this defensive zone Doesn't matter what side of the ground they're on, they just want to switch it across. On this occasion, Lauderdale have manned up extremely quick, so Event now with the ball is forced to run on. He's going in the Bannister direction on the far side of the ground. He receives a handball and then kicks. He hasn't got a great deal on offer, but he's got Tepper up there. The ball is kicked off the ground, though. Lauderdale have the numbers. Lagoni has got it at half back and kicks in towards the centre of the ground. Quick hands there. Harris goes over the top. Umpire has found a throw, so it'll go the way of North Launceston. And De Bruin with the ball in the centre of the ground. He will kick it now with the right boot out wide, looking for and finding the little fella down there in Bennett.
Edmonds, I think, Baz.
Edmonds was it. I just cannot pick this Edmonds up. And there's the kick. Was Edmonds kicked it too, Dave?
Yep.
And he's kicked his first goal for the day. So we apologise a little bit for that. But Edmonds kicks his first goal for the day and also North Launceston's first goal. And that just came out of left field. The ball was almost stagnant. Then all of a sudden it all happened and North are 1-6-12, Lauderdale 2-5-17.
I think Dakota Bannister too, Baz, was pretty influential there. He broke a tackle on the far side and got the ball forward. And Billy Emmons is a player to watch. We saw him, Baz, as I said, against Launceston here on Friday night a few weeks ago. And he's a player with good promise. He started his career with Launceston. He went interstate for a while. And he's athletic, tall and quick. And booted a lovely goal there, the first for North Launceston. They are 1 goal, 6-12, Lauderdale 2-5-17. 8.5 minutes gone. So from the centre bounce, here goes Bannister again. I just mentioned him. He tries to break a tackle this time. Lucks a fortune as it falls with Ponting. Over and out of Wadley in scoring distance from 40. Wadley, let's fly for goal. And a good little patch here for North Launceston, but he misses on this occasion as it just leaks in for a behind. So that's 1 goal, 7-13, North Launceston, Lauderdale 2-5-17. 4 points of difference. Tough conditions here at UTAS Stadium. Now, Alex Lee, see some strapping on the knee or the calf there maybe. Looks like he's about to come back on. That's good news for North Launceston. Long kick out from defence. Falls at the back there off Smith. Players wrestled to the ground. Here's Van Buren. Out and out of Foon. This way, that away. On the right foot. Kick centrally. Nicely taken by Sam Burge. Burge up and running. Kicks off a step. Up here towards half forward. Ben McGuinness is there. So is Matt McGuinness. He tries to kick it off the ground. And it might be kicking in danger there against Matt McGuinness. Will go to Jaden Harris. Round the grounds. Launceston 19, lead Clarence 12. The Tigers 45, now trail Glenorchy 46. Jay Foon, near his defensive goal square. Switches. Has to be pinpoint accurate, and it is. Fletcher Bennett. Nice kick towards Victor Soda. Drops the mark. Pressure now from Williams. He wins the contest. Well done, Josh Williams, a late inclusion. Kicks half forward to Ethan Wish-Wilson. Wheels and goes. 55 out. Centres the ball. And a good opportunity for Ben McGuinness. He can't take the mark. Matt McGuinness is there as well. Well done, Van Buren. He's been one of the best so far. He clears it to Wadley. Out of Davies, who backs himself with pace and gets away. Kicks to a 2-on-1 up here at half forward. Trying to slap it behind himself there was Whitford. But sweeping pretty well was the Lauderdale defence that switched out here towards Perkins.
And Perkins has the ball on centre wing, broadcasting side of the ground. He's kicked it straight to the interchange bench. And there'll be a free kick for North Launceston because that's definitely out on the full. Now Lee is back on the ground, as Dave indicated. He gives it off to the coach in Whitford, who runs inboard about 20 metres and then kicks inside 50. Lauderdale punts the ground to ground level. Ponting can't take possession of the ball. He almost gets it on a second occasion. In fact, he did somehow. Got quick hands out to Wadley. Wadley gets it off a little bit further to Edgar. Edgar chips over the top looking for Whitford, who's run right down the ground into place there towards Cox Goodger. With the left boot, tries to kick it inside out and kicks it so hard and far that he hits the behind post on the far side. A free kick to Lauderdale in the last line of defence.
It's been a little bit quieter than usual today, Cox Goodger, Baz.
He has. He had a couple of patches in that first quarter, but he's been very quiet in the second one. We've played 11 and a half minutes of the second term.
31 goals this season, Cox Goodger.
Lauderdale 2-5-17, North Launceston 1-7-13. The Lauderdale kick has gone sailing out of bounds on the far side over in front of the scoreboard. It's gone over the fence, and I can tell you what, there's two spectators over there in the grandstand, and they're not coming out of that grandstand to retrieve that ball. They're sitting up there with their arms folded.
Fletcher Bennett had to do the job himself.
He had to jump the fence, go get it. Not like it used to be. There'd be a trainer sitting around there back in the good days, wasn't there, B?
Yep.
He'd have gone and got it. And there's the ball. It's back in the forward pocket, taken away by Lauderdale. 2 or 3 hurried pushes and shoves and handballs out of the pack there, and they're settled with a nice mark on half back. Ball goes towards centre wing on the far side of the ground, running a long way from the forward line is Ben McGuinness. He can't take possession, or somehow it goes back to him though, and he kicks. The ball's been smothered off the boot. We've seen that a few times today, but at least it's gone forward. Quick hands over the top, ends up with Harris of North Launceston. Ball at ground level on centre wing, far side of the ground. The umpire said, let's bounce it down, fellas. We're going nowhere at the moment. So field umpire now. Field umpires today, Clark, Geeson and McEntee, doing a terrific job as the tap down ends up with Saunders. Saunders tries to field a player off, and in doing so infringes by dropping the ball, so a free kick to North. Advantage is allowed. Whitford handballs over the top. North Launceston pass coming in towards the half-forward line, looking for Lowe. He couldn't take the mark, but it's off the top there where Tepper takes it. Tepper runs to about 30 metres out. He's tackled just as he goes to kick the ball, and the umpire said he's tackled unfairly and will take a free kick and deliberate shot for goal 20 metres out directly in front. Well, I looked at the flight of the ball and I didn't see anything untoward there.
Neither did I, but umpire's closer than us. Jordan Tepper, who won the NTFA Division 1, as it was then, best and fairest last year. I think it's still called the Hecksmith Medal, Baz, I believe.
I believe so.
Yep. So from South Launceston, so he's got a chance here to put through a second goal for North Launceston and give them the lead.
So Tepper from that free kick, his kick was offline through for a minor score. He would have been asked would he like the score as it stands, or he was having another shot. And he said, I'll have another shot, and Jordan Tepper kicks his first goal for the afternoon for the Northern Bombers. And the Bombers now move along to 2 goals, 7. That'll be 20. They lead by 3 points. Lauderdale 2-5, 17, 14 minutes, term 2.
So a couple of points in front now, North Launceston, and they're starting to move the ball well. And those influential players such as Cox, Goodger and Whitford were involved there. A great tackle, Baz, by Cox, Goodger on Saunders on the far side there. Saunders tried to take on the tackler.
Yep, that's where it all started, wasn't it? Lauderdale had possession of the ball clearly at that point, and then the tackle turned the ball over. Advantage was allowed, and then the ball moved quickly into the forward line, and Tepper, after that free kick, was able to kick the Northern Bombers' second goal.
Smith gets the tap down, but straight to the base of the contest there. Ball escapes out the side. Heavey with a quick kick. Doesn't go very far now, taken by Ponting. He goes to the far side. There's Josh Ponting. Picking up the ball there is Big Smith, who's been really agile and done well around the ground today in these conditions. Little handball from Donley to Tepper. Tepper's handball's not great. Turnover here with Anderton. Shrugs the tackle of Taylor Whitford. Not the second time. How does the umpire see this? Holding the ball, and the coach there, Taylor Whitford, showing the way. He's right hot on the tail there of Mitch Anderton. Laid the tackle. 2 kicks out from goal. What can Whitford do? Looks left, now goes right. Into the pocket here, looking for McCulloch up against Trupp. And Trupp, whilst not getting possessions today, has really nullified the influence of Bart McCulloch, who kicked 6 goals last week. And looks pretty fit at the moment. So good work from Trupp. Bounty throw in about 25 metres around from the North Launceston goal. They've kicked the only 2 goals of this second quarter, halfway through. Taken by Tepper again. Starting to get some touches. Away now to Cox Goodger, who's corralled to Ponting right on the boundary line. How do they get out of this one? Ponting's tackled. That should be holding the ball. And it's not, though.
Might have been across the line before he was tackled.
He's probably got the sanctuary, the boundary line there. It's a boundary throw in, just outside the attacking 50. Right in front of the scoreboard, shining brightly. It's reasonably dark here. Rain falling throughout the whole game so far.
Lights are on, Dave, or some of them are on.
There's tackled to the ground there. Was Cox Goodger, I think. No, it wasn't. Wait till he gets up. In fact, it was Jordan Tepper. Smith wins this one nicely down towards Walsh, but in attendance there is Ponting. The 223s go at it. Ponting wins this one. His little handball misses Cox Goodger. Well read there by Siggins. Siggins kicks to the far side, knocked away by Fletcher Bennett, who Baz is slowly developing into a really solid player on the back line there. son of state cricketer Richard Bennett.
Yep.
Of course. And he's really gaining some experience this year in that back line. As Smith wins the tap. Tepper. Ponting's in there on the bottom of the pack. Umpire balled up once again. See if he can break the congestion here, Baz. It's 2-7-19, North Launceston, Lauderdale 2-5-17.
Ball's halfway between the centre square and centre wing on the far side of the ground. Ruckman doing plenty of pushing and shoving, and a nullified tap. Ends up with Whitford, who looked to drop the ball, but umpire said you had a good swing at that one, taken by Walsh. Kicks it out of that centre wing position towards half forward. Taken away there by Elliott. Elliott handballs to nobody in particular, allows North Launceston back in through Ponting, who's really developing into a solid player for North in the second quarter. Ball goes to centre wing on the far side of the ground. Anderson takes it for the Lauderdale side. He kicks it towards half forward. Pushing towards the boundary line there is Donnellan. And the ball will, Donnelly rather, and the ball will end up over the line, and there'll be a throw in just outside the Lauderdale attacking zone.
Quick scores, 46 apiece at Twin Oval, so it's tightened up there. Not sure where rain might be falling there or not. And also at Windsor Park, it's Launceston 20, Clarence 18.
From the throw in, Lee now working back into the ruck work, came back onto the ground after having the leg heavily strapped. Ends up with Ponting out on the outside, back in towards Tepper. Tepper is developing into a pretty good player in this quarter as well, as he kicks long and deep towards half forward. Running toward the ball on the outer side there is Donnelly. Ball goes back to where Anderton takes it again. He's been pushed in the back, I would think. He has indeed, and a free kick will be applied to Anderton, who's been in everything for Lauderdale on centre wing, railway side of the ground. Long way away in these greasy, slippery, wet conditions at UTAS. Most of the tower lights are on, and it's only halfway through the second term, so that gives you an indication of just how dull the lighting is. Ends up with Whitford off the top of that pack. He just long bombs it out of defence, and it goes to the truck direction, and he marks safely on his chest. That's how you take a chest mark in the wet conditions. Oh, his kick to Walsh is a good one, and he marks nicely in half back. And he's playing extremely well also for Lauderdale. Chips over the top to another handy player in Siggins. He's with the ball now on centre wing on the far side of the ground as he kicks towards half forward. They're kicking the ball fairly long. It's certainly not stopping them from kicking it along. And here's Bellchambers, swoops onto it, kicks towards the top of the square, bounces off, goes to ground level, socket towards the boundary line. The boundary will be the winner. There'll be a throw in 20 metres around from the behind post.
Pretty even second quarter, Baz, with inside 50s 8 apiece. Now clearances pretty even as well, so and it's even on the scoreboard. It's a really tight game.
Yep, and Lauderdale's just moving the ball a little bit better than North, aren't they, on most occasions, as the ball is thrown in deep in that forward pocket. Another nullified tapping performance at Bart McCulloch. I think at ground level, the big fella's been thrown to the ground anyway. The North Launceston player, and Lauderdale have stacked on top to make sure they get a bounce down 40 metres out directly in front. Lauderdale going to the town end in the second term. We've played 20 minutes, and Lauderdale are 17, North Launceston are 19.
Beautiful tap out from Smith. Finds Bellchambers to Walsh, who lets fly and goal Bryce Walsh. And it just misses to the right-hand side. That was fantastic ruck work there from Hayden Smith to Bellchambers to Walsh, the old firm there for Lauderdale, and just missed the opportunity. And it now with the breakaway with Alex Davies, he's got nowhere to go to, so we have to handball it backwards to Ponting, who in turn hands it backwards to Foon. Rushes the tackle. They got out of trouble there beautifully, North Launceston. Now Ponting beckons players towards him, but has to go long. Up here towards Cody Lowe. Good contest from the big fella. At the front's Lockie Cocker, but it falls to Whitford. Back out here towards Cox Goodrew. Labours a bit after the ball. In there with Perkins, the boy from Sorrel. It's out of bounds. The boundary throw in, attacking side of the wing for North Launceston. And Bryce Walsh there, as you said, Baz, he's one of the better players on the ground at the moment. He had an opportunity. I mean, no shot today is easy. I understand that. It's easy from up here, but he had a real chance there. As Tepper, great second quarter so far. Picks it up to Bannister, to Tepper again. Players getting tired close to half-time. 21 minutes gone. Anderton, now Curran to Tepper again. One out in the goal square. McCulloch and Trupp. McCulloch at the front position. Trupp does well. Kick for goal. It's a good one. That's a goal to North Launceston. And I've got a feeling it's Lockie Cocker. I'll just have to wait till he turns around. We'll have to have a look here. I'm not exactly sure who scored that goal. So just watching the replay, thanks to our producer of the stream there. It's Billy Edmonds. Billy Edmonds has kicked that one. In fact, it's a behind. So it must have been touched there. So one behind to North Launceston. 2-8-20, Lauderdale 2-6-18. So I thought that was a goal for all money. But was it touch, Baz, or do you think it hit the post there?
I think it must have touched the post. I didn't look at the goal umpire. I was with
like
you.
A clear shot.
Then I was waiting for him to turn around to see exactly who it was, and he wouldn't turn for us, and the next thing it's a behind.
I was too busy trying to identify the player. It's not easy in these conditions. We're a fair way from the action and the rain is falling. It's pretty dark. Is that enough excuses, groups?
Yeah, I think that covers it.
That covers it? No worries. Boundary throw in. Couple of kicks out from North Launceston's goal. So the player probably tackled without the ball there. So heavy contest with McManus, who started the game brilliantly. There'll be another ball up. 2-8-20 North Launceston, Lauderdale 2-6-18. They've been playing 23 minutes, not long to go in this first half.
Now the umpires have stopped paying those free kicks all of a sudden. There's
Alex
one
Davies
there that should be paid.
Yep, Alex Davies hit the deck there,
Yep.
high contact.
And
that was McManus.
He will get the free kick. I don't know what started it, but he ended up on his backside on the ground, and he gets the free kick. He kicks it towards the half-forward line there. Perkins drops what he probably should have taken, but Lauderdale have the numbers across the half-back line. The kick out of defence ends up with Saunders in centre field, right in the centre circle area. Kicks in towards the half-forward, looking for Elliott. Punched away from that player. Rick Assault went to pick the ball up and couldn't quite get down to it. Ball skids off the ground, and just a quick poke off the boot there ends up with Foon. He kicks it out of defence towards the half-forward line. We're running a half centre wing path. We're running onto it with Saunders, who's been outrun by North Launceston players. The quick hands over the top there from Donnelly. Ends up for a teammate who also kicks towards the centre wing position. North Launceston with the numbers running through centre field at the moment through Edmonds. He kicks in towards the half-forward line, but the Lauderdale defence there strong across this half-back line this afternoon. The kick out of defence ends up with Saunders again. Saunders gets it out a little bit wide at the Heavey. Heavey now kicks in towards half-forward, and a good mark has been taken down here by Wish Wilson. He's right on the 50-metre area. He'll kick from about 55. He's looking around, then decides, no, I'll have a shot at it. What we did mention a while ago, they are kicking distance with the ball. It's just the marking and the picking up of it's a little bit greasy and slippery, but they seem to be able to kick it all right. You've wrapped them up, what do they do? He might have tried to put that to the top of the goal square. It didn't work anyway. McGuinness is under the pump out there from two North Launceston players. Ends up with Foon, has been smothered off his boot. Oh, he is quick to come back into it. Scoops it up and picks it up, and then he's been adjudicated for throwing the ball. Well, the ball was smothered off his boot. Somehow he reacted quickly, and he got right down onto the ball, picked it up one-handed under slippery, greasy conditions, went the handball off, was tackled beautifully by Sam Burge, and he will have a deliberate shot for goal for Lauderdale at the 25-minute mark of the second term, almost half-time here at UTAS. Sam Burge, been a good player for them throughout the first half of the game. He likes it off the boot. The body language tells me he's kicked a goal, and he has. So Sam Burge kicks his first for the afternoon. Lauderdale's third. 3 goals, 6-24. North Launceston 2-8-20. Lauderdale back in the lead at the 25.5-minute mark, term 2.
Gee, you feel sorry a bit there, don't you, Baz, for Jay Foon? I mean, a great pick-up. He took the play on, but he did get rid of it in dubious fashion, and a good tackle, as you said, from Sam Burge. The number 25, there's a couple of opportunities on goal today. He was pretty impressive when we saw him down at Windsor Park the other week, Burge.
He was.
One of the inclusions this week, and he's gone straight on the ball. Isn't that refreshing? Instead of running off the ground, the goal kicker goes straight on the ball. I like to see that. And they're in front, Lauderdale. 3-6-24 to 2-8-20. Can't be long left. We're just on the 26-minute mark of this second quarter. As Smith just takes out of the ruck, the big fella. He pumps it inside 50. Chance for Lauderdale on the siren, just about here. In there is Matt McGuinness out to Karanua. He's tackled there by Harris. Play on. Sweeping kick from Connor Young now. Gets good distance outside defensive 50. Clears the area nicely. And Saunders is, Heavey's in there. Little handball from Whitford goes back to Heavey. He'll be caught from behind. He gets the kick away just in time. And sweeping along there in the half-back line is Brad Cox-Goodger. He goes short now to Tepper, who's under a bit of pressure but takes the mark. Well, Heavey, bit of strong attention, no 50. So deep in the defensive half-back flank here is Tepper. It's nice distance with the kick up here towards low, rises high. Front and square nicely is Curran. Slight fumble. Has to paddle it along. Only the advantage of Matt McGuinness, who's got Walsh in support. He handballs. Walsh on the left foot. Up here looking for Elliott. Back position. Front and square is Kieran Ewer. He loves these. Saunders also. He's tackled. Play on, says the umpire. Connie Young. Little handball. Out to Foon. He's confronted. He gets around Matt McGuinness. He can't pick it up. Matt McGuinness on the follow-up. As the siren sounds, Siggins kicks it inside 50. And a pretty furious little passage of play there to finish the first half. But all in all, it's been a real arm wrestle, and Lauderdale with that goal just on half-time have wrested the lead back from North Launceston. They lead 3-6-24. North Launceston 2-8-20. That quarter went 27 minutes and 5 seconds. Baz, the goal kickers.
Well, Lauderdale, Sam Burge kicked that one late in the second term, and the other two goals were kicked in the opening term, Alex Saunders and Robbie McManus. And for the North Launceston side, Jordan Tepper and Will Edmonds have both kicked goals for them, both in that second term. And Lauderdale led by 9 points at a quarter time, and now they've stretched, they actually were headed by North Launceston, and now they've just poked their nose back in front at the half time to lead by 4 points. And Lauderdale, I think, have been pretty good in that first half, and North Launceston probably not up to their normal standard, you wouldn't think, in that first half of footy, so they'll be looking to lift a little when they go into their half-time huddle. Lauderdale will be pretty pleased with that half of work, I would have thought, Dave. It's
sort of that sort of game. You can see why these two teams are on top of the ladder. They're quite even, and we've seen patches of dominance, so that you can say, where you just feel like one team is getting on top, and then the other team as a period in response. So it's hard to pick a winner, isn't it?
It is indeed. You couldn't pick it from here. It's obviously going to be low scoring, so I wouldn't think that one side's going to run away with it and win by 5 or 6 goals. You think it's going to be close right down to the wire.
I love the work of Big Hayden Smith there. He's been fantastic. I mean, to take the ball out of the ruck in these conditions, he's just been monumental in his efforts.
Well, you got to question whether he can keep it up all day, don't you? I mean, they've got half a dozen big fellas to give him a spell, but I think he's been on the ball for the entire time of the first and the second quarter, and towards the end of it there, he just jumped up, grabbed it both hands, and took about 6 big strides out of the centre and bombed it about 60 metres deep into the forward line. He's had a wonderful first half.
And Alex Lee, of course, looks a bit hampered by the injury there. We might get Chris Sayer onto that one if he's down in the room. So he came back on, but he just doesn't look 100%.
Yes, he's not jumping properly, is he? So you'd think it's probably hampering him a bit.
We'll take a short break here on the live stream and on City Park Radio. We've got a special guest coming up in a couple of minutes. But first we'll have some messages here from City Park Radio. Just before I introduce our special guest, just a couple of scores to get through. It's a game in the NTFA at the moment. Game up at Youngtown. It's South Launceston 6-5-41, leading Bridge North 4-3-27. Other TSL scores. It's a great battle down at the Twin Ovals. It's the Kingborough Tigers 52, leading Glenorchy 46. It's to be a big night in Kingborough tonight if they can get one of the top 3 scalps in the TSL. And they're just leading narrowly. That's nearly on 3-quarter time. And a big second quarter for Launceston at Windsor Park. They lead 8-2-50, to Clarence 3 goals, straight 18. So 32 points is the margin there. We'll keep you up to date with that during the day. The girls' final in the Sardis competition today down at Hutchins School, the War Memorial Oval. Scotch Oakburn 9-12-60 defeated the Farn School 1 behind 1 point. And St Pat's defeated Hutchins in seconds. And we'll try and get a score in the first 18 game, which is Scotch Oakburn and Hutchins as the afternoon progresses. Anyway, enough of all that. Let's introduce our special guest, and it's a great pleasure to welcome to City Park Radio the coach of the very first TSLW side for North Launceston, and that's Dean Smith. G'day, Dean.
How you going, Dave?
Not too bad, mate. Hey, good to see you.
Yep, you too.
And you got a game coming up this afternoon, straight after this one. Is that right?
Yeah, very important game. Chance to take third spot outright, actually. So yeah, very exciting.
And that's against
game.
Clarence.
Yep.
And of course, they finished runner-up last year, Clarence, didn't they? It was a pretty exciting final here.
It was a really close game.
So it'll be a tough contest. We'll get back to that contest in a moment. But what's the challenge been like to develop a new side in the TSLW from scratch?
For us it has been a big challenge. Obviously we had no side coming into this, so we put together a team from our local N2 JFA zones, and as well as the local regional women's comp as well. So had a big training session, 6-week training program to sort out who was going to make the final squad. So it was to start from nothing and to be where we are 4-3 and a chance to play for third spot tonight. I think it's been a fantastic result so far.
So you appointed coach early in the piece?
Yep. We did go and look. I was sort of pretty keen to try and get a female coach. So we did go out and look and put the feelers out. And one of the coaches we were desperate to get wasn't available at the time. So I took on the job. It's been good. It's been a challenge, but it's been good. First time I've helped out mentoring with the under 17 girls and under 18 state programs and stuff. But it's definitely been a challenge.
So as with coaching, Dean, did you have a role in recruitment as well?
Yeah. So pretty much did all that ourselves. So So I went along and watched the local rep games for juniors and senior women, and pretty much got the program out, marked the names down that we wanted to have a talk to, and went from there. So didn't get everyone we wanted. Like a few sort of got to the point where they didn't think they could make the commitment this year. So next year hopefully we can drag a few more in.
From a big picture point of view, women's footy, do you think it's great to have the two teams in Launceston just to give more girls an opportunity now to play at that level?
Yeah. So they definitely needed that extra team in there for the pathways. It's tough for our girls and all the girls, I suppose, with the AFLW influx into Lonnie. So that's made it a little bit tough. We've tried to get AFL TAS on board there to try and give us a little bit more access to the pathway. So for girls to actually train alongside somebody that's been there and still is doing it, and they can see that they are human, and it just is hard work to get you there. So
now you've got a couple of girls that have got TSLW experience. Was Maggie Cuthbertson is one?
Yeah, Maggie.
Who else have you got?
We've got Sarah Radford, Sophie Townsend's been exposed there, and Ebony Barringer. So they've.
How important were they in starting the club off to talk to the other players about what's required?
Oh, they're massive. Yeah, massive. To have so few, it was. They're really important to the girls, and the girls really look up to those players. So, and Jodie Clifford as well was exposed to TSLW a little bit last year but she had an outstanding regional first year she's ever played footy. Won the best on ground the rep game, won the association best and fairest, the club best and fairest, and now she's one that could quite easily coach this side in future years.
And now we see a lot of women's footy players that cross over from other sports, like for example netball, soccer, etc. Have you got a few of those that have done well at other sports and have come to footy? Yeah,
certainly. So, and especially netball, soccer, touch footy, they cross over really easily. And there are a lot of girls, state netballers, that have started playing in regional footy that we've had conversations with looking towards next year, that footy's starting to really take off now, and they're looking at that as their preferred sport.
And Dean, how exciting from a personal point of view is, all coaches are teachers of their team, but there would have been a big teaching and an education part about tactical parts of the game and skills. How exciting has that been from a personal point of view?
Yeah, no, it's been excellent, and they are like sponges. So that's one good thing we noticed with doing the under 18 state rep stuff, and that the girls are really, because it's so new to them. It's a totally different dynamic than doing it with coaching the boys, and they take it all in, and as I said, they are developing more quickly than we thought. Yeah.
Now, projecting forward a bit, you're keeping an eye on the NTFAW around the traps just to see who's about?
Yep, being under their games. Went to the rep game the other week. Spoken to a couple of players since then. The excitement's built a little bit, and now that North's here and we had the jumper presentation and we've had a camp, and I think like similar to the men's program, eventually we just want to be the club that everyone wants to come to. So we're hoping that is starting to get out there and the word's getting around and more players are showing an interest. So.
Now take us back to your first TSLW game, proper game against Lauderdale. How was the excitement leading up to that and getting the win?
Oh, it was massive. The girls, as I said to them before the game, they just needed to embrace those nerves because we had no idea what Lauderdale were going to be like. And the way the girls played, it was a credit to them. And Lauderdale, despite the fact that they haven't had a lot of on-field success this year, they're a fairly fit side. They're a very young side as well. So they'll obviously improve as they go along. But to go in against a side that had been playing together for a couple of years, we couldn't have been more happy with the result.
Of course, I suppose the benchmark of the big three, that Clarence, Glenorchy and Launceston, what's been like playing against those teams? Have you learned a bit, the girls learned a bit from matching up with those bigger teams? Oh,
definitely so. And especially when we played Launceston, it was like with the girls, you mentioned about the Sardis final today.
Yeah.
Young Alex Anderson plays for us. She played in that for Scotch today, so she played in that final. When we played her on the Haynes twins on and off during the Launceston game, and she more than held her own. So that's the sort of thing where they're going to learn from playing on those top players, so it's been great.
With the girls that haven't played a lot of footy, what are the skills you have to most focus on in getting them to a higher level? Is it the kicking or the tackling, or what do you pinpoint as the major skills?
We went away and for a women's coaching forum in Melbourne before the season and worked on the fact that they're almost 10 times more likely to do a knee.
Yeah.
So we had to work a lot on that, and that's more about just their prehab and their warm-ups and dynamic warm-ups and stuff, but then also just from the basic footy side of it. We're really big on the girls marking the football because in women's footy that's still probably the skill that's needs the most work.
Yep.
So if we can hold the football and possess the football, and then obviously the kicking, all the basics, the fundamentals. But definitely the marking, that's a huge one. They're not scared to tackle.
You
just got to teach them how to tackle.
Notice that.
Got to teach them how to tackle correctly and safely too, not only safely for themselves but the person they're tackling as well.
Yeah.
So there's no fear there. Yeah.
Well, fantastic. And now let's where we started, which was today's game. So you've got Clarence coming up in an hour or so's time, or an hour and a half. So talk about ladder positions and how important is this game going forward.
Yeah, so they sit less than 1%, I think, ahead of us on the same points. So so this is realistically for third spot on the ladder, which is something we wouldn't have even contemplated before the season started. So to be sitting 4 and 3, Clarence, yes, they got the better of us the first time around, 41 points up here. We've improved a lot since then, and obviously Clarence, they're a strong club and didn't play in the grand final through sheer luck last year. So so it's going to be a big challenge, but I think the girls are definitely they're definitely up for it. So
and what's it like to play out here? The girls pretty excited. I mean, it's your home ground, I know, but
it's a big thing. It's part of what we'll discuss before the game today. The fact that to go out and play on a ground like this, there's so many girls and boys that would love to be playing on this ground, and now this is the third or fourth time we'll end up playing here 4 times this year. So next week, it's just a fantastic opportunity. Under lights. It's the sort of stuff they dream about when they're kids. So,
we talked about the game against Launceston. Do you think going forward that'll be a big rivalry like it is in the men's footy, the North Lonnie rivalry?
Yeah. We can't wait to build our list a bit more. So, a few years in, as we said to the girls, realistically, give yourself a few years to build the list and develop the skills. And so Launceston is it'll be exactly the same as it is in the seniors. So there's that rivalry there. At the moment we're off the mark. So it's a little bit hard to take it right up to them. But the effort the girls put in last time against them, to lose by less than 50 points against Launceston, with the side they've got together, I think it was a big feather in their cap.
Now, how much communication or cooperation is there between yourself and your coaching panel there, and so Taylor and Adrian Smith and the guys in the TSL men's? Is there sort of sharing of ideas and stuff there?
Yeah, definitely. Taylor's always there. If we need any advice, Taylor held one of his own training days, mentoring sessions for coaches earlier this year. We all went to that. My line coaches went to that. Jodie Clifford and myself have just been down in the box with the line coaches for the seniors throughout this game. So, there's definitely, because we want to, we've got the one club culture, and so we want to be right across it, all across the board with the women and the men. So
fantastic. Now we can't let you go without talking about the game we're seeing in front of us. What's your thoughts at half time?
Yeah, no, very scrappy, but the conditions. I wouldn't say the conditions have suited either one more than the other. Taylor was quite confident with the weather, so I think if they kick a little bit straighter. So a little bit of frustration up there with guys not playing their roles, but no doubt they'll get that message loud and clear at half time. So.
Well, Dean, we'll let you go and get back down there. The umpies are just about to come out, and good luck this afternoon against Clarence. Big clash.
Thanks very much, Dave.
Thanks, Dean Smith, joining us here on City Park Radio. We'll take a short break, and in a moment we'll be back with Baz will be on board, and we'll talk to Chris Sayer. Welcome back to UTAS Stadium on City Park Radio and also the TSL live stream. The players are back on the ground, so the umpires, and Chris Sayer's also on the ground. Chris, what do you got for us down there?
Yeah, I went into both rooms and both coaches took their teams behind closed doors into the meeting room, so I can't tell anything about what they said. But I was talking to one of the Lauderdale guys just out in the ground here, and they really relish playing on this ground. They really, recognise this is one of the best grounds in the country, and they're really loving playing on this ground. Looking at this ground, there's no water anywhere, not even squelching underfoot. It's remarkable how much it's soaking up all this water. But it is really soft underfoot, and the rain is sort of still drizzling, but still constant, so it's just not letting up.
Christiani, update there on Alex Lee and his condition?
Yeah, I did see him go into the rooms. He went into the trainer's room to get checked out, but then he went into the meeting room, so they have not applied ice to his knee. So we'll see. He's out there now, isn't he? We'll see if he comes to the bench, but they're still playing him.
Yep.
We'll see how we go.
See how we go in the second half. Thanks, Chris. So I'll let you get out of the conditions there.
Right, thanks.
That's Chris Sayer down on the boundary line there. Just to get the glasses up at North Launceston now, Baz, just to see if Alex Lee is out there.
And he's certainly dragging that leg.
Yep, no, looks like he's going to take his place in this second half. Okay, so we talked before, Baz, in our wrap-up there about how even the game is. I've got the stats here. Lauderdale are winning the hit-outs. We talked about Hayden Smith's dominance in that first half. They're winning 26-13. Clearances are pretty even, though, 16-15. Inside 50s, 23 apiece. Marks inside 50, just one for North Launceston. They've got the tall timber of McCulloch and Lowe up there, but it's not a day, is it, for high-flying forwards? 3 to Lauderdale. Free kicks 19-13 North Launceston's way. So pretty even in the stats, pretty even on the scoreboard. Hope you're enjoying our coverage here of TSL footy. The lights are on. Be going back here again next week. It's North Launceston up against Glenorchy, so we'll get a bit of an idea over the next 2 weeks what the pecking order is heading into the last round of games. It's about 7 or so weeks away from the finals. And we'll just check that Tigers versus Glenorchy score again, because that could be a big result for the Kingborough Tigers if they can get up this afternoon. So just check on that one very quickly. And they lead by 1 point. We're into the last quarter, 53-52. And at half-time, it's Launceston 50 leading Clarence 18. Half-time in the Sardis final down at the War Memorial Oval at Hutchins School. And Scotch lead by 6 points over Hutchins. So that would be a bit of an upset if Scotch got up in that one. We'll keep you up to date with that one in the second half. But focus now back at UTAS Stadium. It's Lauderdale 3-6-24, North Launceston 2-8-20. They're about to get underway. Thanks to our sponsors here on City Park Radio. Andrew Doyle, Telstra Stores, Quadrant and Kings Meadows open 11 to 3 on Sundays. Appreciate your support. And we appreciate the support of the Tasmanian State League as well, and bringing these games to you on radio and also on the live stream. Umpire holds the ball aloft. Here's Barry Triffett.
Just a 4-point margin to Lauderdale to open up the second encounter, and Lee's in there doing the ruck, but he didn't even get off the ground. You have to question his fitness at the moment, but the ball goes to ground level. Cox Goodger tries to soccer it off. It's taken away there by Bill Chambers. Gets it out towards the big bulky ruckman in Smith. He kicks deep inside 50 towards the top of the goal square. Umpire's found a free kick. It's going to the North Launceston defender back there. I didn't see exactly what happened. There was a clear mark to Saunders, but it's Jack Event, one of the smaller players on the ground, that was interfered with, and he gets the free kick out of defence. And Lee runs a lot of ground, but he hobbles when he takes the mark, and then he kicks it poorly straight to the defence of Perkins. Perkins kicks towards the top of the goal square. Ball goes to ground levels where Saunders tries to get the handle on it. He can't quite find it. Now he goes back in for a second opportunity. Handballs to nobody in particular. Ponting's there for North Launceston. Lauderdale have the numbers, about 4 or 5 of them in their forward line. Finally ends up out with Siggins. He hurriedly kicks it, and it goes straight back to Jack Event, who had the previous kick from deep in the back pocket. He knocked Event, in fact it was Foon. He kicks it out wide to the far side, gets the handball over now towards Cox Goodger. It's the old 1-2, and Cox Goodger racking up the possessions here, but he's gone on this occasion into the back according to the umpire. Fairly lucky to get away with that. He gave it to his teammate, who came back, and then he just stood, and luckily it was interfered with from his point of view. I don't think Lauderdale would be too happy with that. It looked fairly well like it would be holding the ball for mine. He's kicked deep out of defence towards centre wing on the railway side of the ground. Ball ricochets over the back of the pack to Wadley. Wadley kicks towards the centre wing on the half-forward line there for North Launceston, but there's been a Lauderdale mark across half-back by Josh McGuinness, and he'll take it on centre wing, far side of the ground.
Josh McGuinness.
Been a little bit quieter than McGuinness boys today. Dave is not really suiting them in these conditions.
He kicks long. Up here, looking for his brother Ben. Can't take the mark. Trying to break free was Ponting. He rolls over in the tackle. It'll be a ball up. Tell you what, Alex Lee, I'm sure it's a knee, Baz, and he's got that calf heavily strapped. Now, you think it was a calf strain, he wouldn't be out there. So maybe it's a cork calf or something like that. He's just hobbling a little bit. Not covering the ground as best as he could. Here he is again, as I speak, wrestling for the ball. He's got what's like a big black sock on his right leg for our radio listeners. Cox Goodger breaks free to Ponting. Handball. Knocked forward by Curran only as far as Anderton. Can't pick the ball up. He does now. Working hard in there is Curran once again. He just slaps the ball in the boot. Up towards half forward. McCulloch knocks it on. No one can pick it up. Little handball comes away. That's Sharon Egger, I think, launching on goal. It's bouncing off to the right. And it's one behind to North Launceston. 2-9-21 to 3-6-24. We're through nearly 3 minutes in this third quarter. And Wiggins, who's done the kicking out duties today, same tactic most days. Goes long, gets it 80 metres out from defensive goal. Handball over the top from Walsh to Bell Chambers. Taken there by Siggins, kick off the ground. Rolling ball towards the boundary. Taken by Van Buren, who kicks it into the shin there of Heavey. But it's out of bounds, no free kick. So the rain just, as Chris Sayer said, just a slight drizzle at the moment. Expected a little bit heavier today, but of course that could come a little bit later. Boundary throw in. Lee against Smith. Smith front position. Knocks it to the back to Donley, who picks it up. Can't release, he just hands it to Van Buren. Now, how does the umpire read that?
Yeah, throw.
Throw, yep. It was just a handover, basically, which can be deemed as a throw. So it'll be a free kick. And that's Alex Heavey over there. He's one of Damien Gill's favourite players. He loves calling Heavey goals.
Not a breath of wind, Dave, at this stage.
Heavey now goes short, up towards attacking 50 on the bounce. Taken, although it's now released to Cox Goodger. To Lee, back to Cox Goodger, who's lifting his work rate. Up the wing, you're looking for Donnelly. Source Donnelly, picks it up now. Evades a tackle. Nice handball to Tepper, who drops it. Now he's under pressure, he tries to break free to Tepper. It's a handball of sorts away. Now it's with Josh McGuinness. Siggins is in there. Donnelly only as far as Heavey. Kicks around the corner for distance. Jaden Harris is there. Now it's with Bell Chambers. He's got some space. Little handball. Over the top here, big Hayden Smith. Back to Bell Chambers. Kicks inside 50. Chance here for Saunders. Clears him. Out the back it's Davies. Sweeping. He mops up and gives it to Richter Solder. Kicks under pressure. Down the wing. And the mark's not taken there by Cox Goodger. He has a player in support in Ponting. Back to Cox Goodger. The old firm there. Cox Goodger kicks near the boundary line. It's going to fall straight in the lap, though, of Josh McGuinness.
And McGuinness on half-back for Lauderdale. North going to the town end in the third quarter. Lauderdale to the Invermay Park end. Kick over the top. And Lauderdale just holding possession up now. It's been quite slippery and greasy, the ball, in this opening minutes of the third term. So they're just steadying the play up a little bit now as the ball goes towards their half-forward line. It's a big thump out of defence. Curran with the ball for North Launceston. Kicks deep in towards Edmonds. Edmonds marks just outside 50. Been a good player for the Bombers this afternoon. Gets it on there towards McCulloch. It bounces off the top there. Comes towards Edgar. Edgar set upon. Ball goes to ground level. Umpire allows play on. Lauderdale with the numbers across half-back. The quick chip out of defence ends up with Williams. And Williams marks just inside the defensive zone. But his kick's a shocker. Gone straight to Edmonds, who spills it down towards Davies. Off the back there now. It's taken by Anderton. Anderton handballs over the top to Gilby. Gilby gets it back to Williams. Williams with the right boot. The umpire's found something somewhere. Might have been something happened behind.
In back play against North Launceston, Baz.
Was it Bart McCulloch in?
Yep, he was involved with their truck.
Yeah, that's about the third free kick. That's been awarded to Lauderdale through Bart McCulloch being a little frustrated here today. So it ends up back with Gilby. Gilby's on the half-back line for Lauderdale. He kicks towards the centre wing. It bounces towards the boundary line, and that could be deliberate or touch. It's a throw-in.
Fletcher Bennett might have been a touch fortunate there. It's once again the umpire didn't have a good view of it, umpire McEntee, but lucky not to get deliberate there, I think.
Well, the ball's right in front of interchange. We've played 6 3/4 minutes into the third term. Smith been rucking all day. He's in there against Lee. Nullified or too high tackle there. There'll be a Lauderdale free kick in the middle of that pack, and it's taken by Kieran Newer. He gets the handball off to McGuinness, and McGuinness kicks it deep towards the top of the goal square. Walsh is running onto it back there, and he marks beautifully. Burge marks beautifully inside 50. The two blonde shells, they look alike, and Sam Burge already kicked the goal. This is about the position he kicked it from too, I think. Only at the other end of the ground. But about the angle and the distance, so you'd think he wouldn't have too many difficulties popping through Lauderdale's fourth goal. There's his kick. The umpire just works a little to his right. He kicks his second for the day, and Lauderdale open up a lead now. They're 4 goals, 6-30. They lead by 9 points over North, who are 2-9-21, 7.5 minutes in the third term.
He's been useful up forward as Sam Burge, almost like a forward pocket roll. He's popped up a few times, and now he's got himself his second goal for the afternoon.
They look alike, Burge and Walsh.
Yep. So just the 2 goals for North Launceston and now 4 for Lauderdale. So they've got that 2-goal buffer back again. They had it quarter time. They kicked the first 2. North Launceston kicked the next 2. And now Lauderdale have kicked the last 2 of the 6 goals in this game. And Robbie McManus there again was pretty influential in that build-up. Got the kick inside 50. So from the centre bounce, or centre throw up, Taylor Whitford working hard. Little kick from Bannister to Davies, who keeps on going. Little handoff from McCulloch. Now it ends up here with Lockie Cocker. For goal, Lockie Cocker. It's off to the right. It might not make the distance. It just goes through from behind. Good work there from Perkins. Sees the ball through for a behind. 2:10:22. As the scoreboard updates now to 4:6:30. Off goes Josh McGuinness, who's having a better quarter. Cross half back, off hands. Siggins, little handball, knocked down. Here they go. Heavey, Walsh, working hard. Walsh got one high there from Davies. And they're allowed to play on now through McManus, who streams away. Kicks to half forward. Pressure there on the North defence. Jackie Avent, backwards to Van Buren. Leans back on a left foot kick up here towards Ponting. He can release Whitford, and he does now. Whitford has to pick it up though. Slippery ball. Here's a voice. Handballs, but straight to Bryce Walsh. who's tackled over the line by Carlton Wadley. And it'll be a throw in far side. In front of the Eid wing, as it's called on Hawthorn days. After the Hawthorn legend Rodney Eid groups, one of your favourites.
Yeah, back in the day.
Back in the day.
Great player.
Boy from Wynyard. Boundary throw in. Front position was Hayden Smith, does it well to Siggins, who's playing on ball at the moment. Saunders, Heavey, little kick sideways. Ends up with Nick Baker to Wiggins. So Wiggins lets fly towards half forward. It's a bit of a wrestle there with Richter Solder. Falls now, kick off the ground. Chance here, Burgess hovering again. Can they pick it up? Kerenua off the ground, soccer style. Henry Kerenua kicks the 5th goal for Lauderdale, and they stretch that lead out now to 14 points. And he hasn't had a lot to do today, Kerenua, but he was in the right place at the right time there, and they're looking dangerous up forward at the moment. He's just gone down with a slight injury concern there, or is he just doing the shoelace up? So I beg your pardon. Yeah, doing the boot up. So soccer style there. Exciting player, Baz, Henry Kerenua inside 50.
Yes, he makes every opportunity count, and he certainly did that then. We mentioned at half-time that Lauderdale probably looked a little better in that first half. North Launceston needed to reassess, and at this point, halfway through the third term, you'd think that Lauderdale are starting to run away with it a little bit. North need to do something fairly quickly. Here's the coach in Whitford. He soccers it off the ground, kicks it in towards half-forward, looking for Edmonds. The big, tall, lean youngster runs onto it. He can't quite get down to pick it up. He looked to throw it out, but it comes back to him. He kicks it with the left boot inside the 50. Lauderdale defenders, 3 of them there. They shovel the ball out, and the umpire said, in fact, he shoveled it out that badly that... No, he must have been thrown in the back or something. I thought he threw it out, but the umpire says it's Lauderdale's free kick with Wish Wilson across half back. He kicks it towards the Smith, who's all over his opponent out there on centre wing on the far side.
That's shepherding, I think.
Yes, yep. It is shepherding. Well, I don't know about that. He just, I thought Whitford was there. Anyway, ends up with Walsh. Walsh with the ball now on half back, kicks towards half forward off the top of the pack there. Almost running onto it was Burge, but the ball goes off the side of the boot and out of bounds. There'll be a throw in on the far side on the railway side of the ground. Quick
progressive scores, Baz, and Glenorchy have kicked away late. They lead 68-55, close to full time at the Twin Ovals. And Launceston 62 lead Clarence 18. So 10-2 to 3 straight there at Windsor Park.
12-minute mark of the third term at UTAS, and Smith been rucking all day, thumps the ball out of defence. Gets it down there towards his teammate who kicks in towards half forward. It's pushed towards the boundary line, and there'll be a throw in about 30 metres around from the goal that Lauderdale are attacking. That's the Invermay Park end. Not a breath of wind here at UTAS at the moment, just a slight drizzle. You think that'll probably remain that way for the rest of the game. Nothing to push up any severe weather at this particular point in time, as the ball's been thrown in deep in the forward pocket. Bart McCulloch gets the tap down, but he's tapped it just in front of him, which allows 3 or 4 players just to bottle it up, and the umpire will be forced to come in and throw the ball skyward.
Baz Alex Lee's off again. He's just jogging on the boundary a moment ago. I'm not sure you're going to see much more of him.
I think his day might be done, Dave. As it's socked off the ground there by Lauderdale. North Launceston player could have been held back there in the last line of defence. Umpire invites him to play on. It's right on the point of the square. Nothing happening, though, for either side, and the umpire will throw it skyward right on the point of the goal line. Lauderdale's attacking zone. Can they make something of this? There's the tap down, almost kick smothered off the boot, and it's gone through, rushed through in the end for a minor point. So Lauderdale moved to 5 goals, 7-37. North Launceston 2-10-22. North Launceston will chip the ball in and take it around the railway half-back line.
It's with, I think it's Whitford back there, who switches the ball back here towards Bannister. Dangerous, good spoil there from Ben McGuinness. Sees it out of bounds. That was Sam Burge, who had that soccer shot off the ground a moment ago. He almost kicked his third, but it was just touched on the line. But free kick back on play, I beg your pardon. It's Dakota Bannister. So he must have been caught high in that marking contest. And he goes a big switch, dangerous. Heavy's there with front position. Clears the contest. Now, how does the umpire see this?
I think he pulled him down in the contest.
He has. So it's going to be a free kick to Alex Heavey as he gets to his feet. It's a dangerous switch from Bannister there, looking for Van Buren. And the kick just didn't quite have the penetration. Alex Heavey, bit of experience read it well, got the front position. And just look at the replay here. As Van Buren comes from behind. Yep. And catches him high in the contest. And there might have been a hand round the waist as well. So Alex Evie on the range for about 45. Moves in for goal. It's fading away to the right a little bit. And it's one behind. 5-8-38 Lauderdale, North Launceston 2-10-22. Nearly 15 minutes gone here at UTAS Stadium. As he's Connor Young, I think it is, back there. In fact, might have been Foon who's kicked it wider. The mark's taken. This is Cox Goodger working deep in defence at the moment. I'll get you to check the inside 50s at the next stoppage. Thanks, Groups. As here comes Bannister. Bannister lets fly with a round the corner kick. Gets good distance with it. Only as far, though, there as Josh McGuinness, who's had a great third quarter. Groups, inside 50s.
This quarter, 6 to Lauderdale and 3 to North Launceston.
Okay, 6-3. Clearances?
Clearances 5 to Lauderdale, 4 to North Launceston,
So
and Smith's still well ahead in the ruck.
Yeah,
well.
He's going to take further control now. I think Alex Lee's off the ground. So the kick from Lauderdale to their half-forward line. Ball breaks free. Ponting gets it off to Curran. Now to Wadley in traffic. North Launceston. Bannister just goes for space. Foot races on. Anderton leads it. Picks it up nice. He's tackled well from behind. That's Egger on the tail there of Anderton. Two young guns. Back now to Wiggins. Kick might have been touched. Up here towards Raglioni, now playing in the short sleeves. He's pushed out of the contest with Nick Raglioni play on. Ball's got to come back as Burge lets fly inside 50. Yeah, so Nick Raglioni started, as I said, in the long sleeves. He's now gone for the short sleeve option. Just checking out the radar here. As the rain has eased a bit for the moment. As Raglioni plays on, kicks inside 50. To the top of the goal square. Elliott's there. Chance off the back for Ben McGuinness. Look away handball from Cox Goodger. Can't find the target. It's out of bounds. Right beside the left behind post. It's Lauderdale 38, North Launceston 22.
16 3/4 minutes have elapsed in the third term. And the ball's being thrown in almost alongside of the behind post. The end that Lauderdale are kicking, the Invermay Park end. Smith doesn't get an effective tap down, but it ends up with Rick de Solder. He's under the pump, gets it towards Cox Goodger, feeds it out a little bit wider. North Launceston with the numbers through Donnelly. He kicks it with the left boot, but it's smothered off the boot again. We've seen a lot of that today from both sides. And the ball ricochets and skids across the boundary line right in front of the scoreboard. That tells us Lauderdale 38, lead North 22. That's by far the biggest margin of the game. And Lauderdale, the premiership quarter, the third quarter, starting to stitch this one up. North Launceston need to lift their game. They're minus Lee at the moment, who's still off the ground. As the ball goes back to the boundary line again, 17.5 minutes have elapsed in this third term. This won't worry Lauderdale. This bit of stagnant play. North Launceston are the ones that need to lift and do something. They won't be coming home with a win because there's absolutely no breeze here at UTAS. Very still the conditions. Just a little drizzly. There's a snap-on play by a Lauderdale player in the middle of the pack there in Siggins. But it's gone through for a minor score. But again, they just stretched that lead that little bit further. 5 goals, 9-39. 2-10-22. Ball's kicked in. Almost a mark to Davies. In fact, it's been played a free kick, but advantage ends up with Van Bruin as he gets it towards half forward. Taken out of defence here by Wiggins. Lauderdale kicked the ball deep towards the scoreboard, the broadcasting side of the ground. The mark was almost taken by Williams, but it ricocheted off his chest and across the line. It was forced in the end, and there'll be a throw in right in front of interchange at the 18.5-minute mark of this third term.
Gee, how was that running torpedo, Baz, from Wiggins there? At about 60 metres from the defensive 50 to the wing. Nearly marked there by McManus. Here we go now. This is Tepper on the ball. Does nicely. Breaks away. He does the torp too. Chaos ball. Low, but over the back it's Trupp. Now Trupp's now on low as McCulloch has gone into the ruck. Trupp switches over here towards McManus. At half back. He's been a good player today, McManus. Looks for Gilby, and he takes the ball nicely at half-back. So we talked about Jacob Gilby. He's actually the leading goal scorer this year for Lauderdale with 15 goals. But such is their versatility, the likes of Gilby and Wiggins can play forward or back, or Trupp for that matter. As Davies can't quite take the mark on the far side. He's been pretty good today, slung as he kicks. Bryce Walsh gets a little handball out, taken by Bannister. Backwards to Connor Young, and turn to Event. Event, short distance kick. Chance here for some runners for North Launceston. They can pick it up. McManus 1 against 4 does well. Numbers win out with Donnelly. Donnelly leans back and kicks it towards half forward. Oh, Jacob Gilby. He's done well across half back today. He takes a lovely mark and a beautiful kick to Walsh. Can't quite take the mark. Has time to recover. Now he's confronted. And he gets so high on his opponent. No, in fact, Lockie Cocker got Walsh high. Gets up holding his head, and Bryce Walsh from half back will take the free kick. They lead by 17 points.
He's been in everything. Loves the conditions today, Walsh. Gets it on. Here goes Lauderdale in towards their half-forward line. North Launceston in front. Comes to McGuinness. Handballs out quickly to my brother. Running past there in Ben McGuinness. He has a snap-on goal and is through for a minor score. They stretch the lead by another minor as North Launceston play on quickly, but a little foolishly. Things are just not happening for North across this half-back line today. They keep switching the play. They keep playing on quickly. And Lauderdale are up to every trick that North are trying to throw at them. And at the moment, they're winning in all those little contests. Lauderdale 5-10-40, North Launceston 2-10-22. A very handy lead in a low-scoring game. Ball back in front there. Bart McCulloch with a secondary hit at it. Kiranua ends up with it, and he just shovels it off the ground. North Launceston players in there with Walsh of Lauderdale, and he tackles Tepper, throws him to the ground, and the ball will be bounced down just outside 50 for Lauderdale.
2-0 this quarter, Baz.
Yep, and it's been pretty well. Most of the dominance has been in the Lauderdale attacking area.
Burge has got it now for Lauderdale. He turns, kicks on his left, but cutting off there is Van Buren. So Van Buren, he's inside his defensive 50. Right-hand side of the park for North Launceston. Kicks on his right. Low trajectory kick. Nice mark. And that's Burge again, impressive today. Kicked some goals and now doing some work around the ground. Here's Kiranua. Breaks free. Exciting. Bryce Walsh right on the 50. Let's fly. Does Bryce Walsh? This might go through. It does. Bryce Walsh. What a great game he's playing here at UTAS Stadium. And he steadied from right on 50 and kicked it into the goal square. It bounced and went through for a major for Lauderdale. And they lead now by 4 goals. And this lead is getting out to dangerous proportions, Barry.
It is indeed, Dave. North Launceston, as we've said in the last 5 minutes or so, they need to lift, they need to do something if they want to stay in contact in the last quarter. No breeze to speak of, as we said, nothing to help them. They just have to do it all themselves. But at the moment, they're being tailed up by a very good Lauderdale combination.
Bryce Walsh, Baz, he's had injury troubles over the journey, but he looks really fit at the moment. He's had some time over at Augusta Golf Course, helping out with the greenkeepers over there. So he's back now and he's looking really good at the moment. Playing a good game today, and here he is again.
Here he is again. He hurriedly kicks it with the left foot, doing a lot of mileage as well. He's doing a lot of running in the middle of the ground as it's taken over there by McManus. He kicks towards the top of the goal square. It's thumped off the top of the pack through for another minor score. All the attacking is Lauderdale at the moment. I don't know how many times North have gone inside their 50.
Here we go, Grooves. You got it for us?
Oh, it's up to 11 inside 50s for Lauderdale now to 5. They've had about the last 6 or so.
Wow.
Back with McManus, handballs out. Here's an opportunity for North if they can run the ball out of defence. But the hustling and the bustling and the 1%ers of Lauderdale has been fantastic all day. And again, they stopped that attacking move of North Launceston. And is that Walsh or Burge?
It's Walsh, mate.
Yep, they certainly are alike. And there he is again, Walsh. There's his kick on centre wing, far side of the ground. They've got some lights on the towers, but only about half of them. And it's not quite as bright as what we'd probably like it. But Donnelly has the ball for North. Gets it on to a teammate outside there. Cox Ponting rather with the ball now. Gets it out a little bit wider to Cox Goodger. He has it on centre wing, far side of the ground. And he's got nobody down his forward zone. Oh, McGuinness spent the ball before he had it. Tried to mark it and run on at the same time. It didn't quite come off. Trupp been fairly solid across the back line, ends up with it for Lauderdale. He sees a bit of movement just inside the defensive 50. gets it on quickly. The kick goes in the bell chambers direction, but McGuinness jumps in there in front of him and takes it. Gets that a little bit further to Heavey. Heavey handballs over the top to Kiranua. He having trouble picking up the ball. In there is Harris for North Launceston. Rolls himself over top of the ball, and in the end is good enough to hold it in and force a bounce down just inside 50 for Lauderdale.
Good linking up there from Lauderdale Baz, right from half back. They moved it beautifully across the far side of UTAS Stadium.
I like the way they're just holding the ball for that other second to make sure that they deliver it correctly to their teammates, and they're just doing that a little bit better than North at the moment. So there's an example. North just grabbed the ball out of that pack through Ponting and just put it to boot. It was smothered off the boot, but there's a free kick for North, and it'll go to Cox Goodger on half back.
And certainly Cox Goodger is trying his very best at the moment. He's racking up possessions. He's another serviceable player, and Donley gets it to Foon. They'd love a goal just before three-quarter time, just to give themselves some momentum going the last quarter, keep themselves in reach into the forward 50. As that's Josh McGuinness out to Wiggins. Gee, their backline's been solid today. And here's a man that's played a really good game. That's Alex Heavey. We've caught him a lot in recent times. Nicely now towards Ben McGuinness with a bit of a mullet. Ben McGuinness inside 50, and holding his ground there is Fletcher Bennett. Now they might switch here. No, they go down the centre part of the ground. Long kick over here looking for Ponting. Walsh front position. Ponting does well. It's been a great battle today. Ponting caught with it. Play on as Walsh takes it away. He measures his kick now beautifully inside 50 towards Elliott. He tries to take it on the bounce. Can't do so. It's out of bounds. 20 metres around from Lauderdale's goal. We're deep in the third quarter. The margin is some 25 points. So this quarter, 2 behind North Launceston. And it's been 3 goals, 5 to Lauderdale. Therein lies the dominance. It's a misty, foggy sort of atmosphere here now. The rain has stopped. As Smith now against McCulloch in the ruck. It's at ground level. Picking it up is Siggins, playing that ruck rover role. So versatile as Ponting now delivers it to Whitford. Oh, does it beautifully, Gaelic football style. Kicks it up to himself. Can't quite take it. Wiggins in there again. Bannister. Gee, it's a slippery bit of soap. Like no one can pick it up. Ends up with Heavey. Releases a short distance kick. Davies. Kick off the ground. Raglione. Fresh jumper. Bit of a fumble there from McCulloch. Now he's got it back again. He's tackled by Karanua. Has to get a kick sideways. Out here looking for Ponting, who takes it. Little kick. Falls nicely to Cox Goodger. Thinks about playing on. Now this might be 50, unless Saunders is very careful. Ponting goes the switch. Cox Goodger goes the switch. Might end up here nicely with Van Buren. Here's a chance for North Launceston late in the quarter. Oh, well done by Gilby there away from Tepper. Although Tepper's got the better recovery. Which way will he go? He go around on that favoured left foot. Now he dodges around Gilby. Oh, he's tried to do too much. He's holding the ball. Umpire Tom McIntyre. Credit to Tepper there. He did try and make something there, but he just held on a bit long. He had a chance to get the kick away first up, Baz.
Yep.
He hesitated, and he got wrapped up in the tackle. And there's three-quarter time.
Fairly typical of a lot of North Launceston's play today, I would have thought, Dave, and that just gives the opportunity for Lauderdale to tackle, and they've done that on many occasions. And at three-quarter time, fantastic third quarter by Lauderdale. They moved to 6 goals, 11, 47. So they were 24 at half-time, and they've doubled their score. North Launceston 2-10-22, and as you indicated, they only kicked 2 behinds in that quarter. For Lauderdale, the goal kickers, Sam Burgess, the multiple goal kicker with 2 goals. Bryce Walsh, Robbie McManus, Henry Kiranua and Alex Saunders all have a goal each. And for North Launceston, both in the second term, so the goals in the first and the third quarter going to the town end. We've indicated on many occasions not a breath of breeze here at UTAS, so there's no excuse for North not kicking goals at the town end. They kicked both their goals in the Invermay Park end in the second term, Jordan Tepper and Will Edmonds.
And we can see down Alex Lee now. He's limping out to the huddle. And credit to Chris Say there. He got it right with the diagnosis. It looked like he's got that knee iced up. So that's a big blow. He's out for the day. And so Bart McCulloch will have to ruck in that last quarter. We'll take a short break here from UTAS Stadium, collect our thoughts, and we'll be back in just a moment. The score is North Launceston 22, trailing Lauderdale 47. Oop, welcome back here to UTAS Stadium as the teams are in their huddles. North Launceston are still in their line groups, and Lauderdale now in together with their coach Darren Winter. Just a few things to get through. The final score at the Twin Ovals, it was Glenorchy victorious there 10-8-68 to an inaccurate Tigers 7-13-55. So a good effort there from the Tigers, taking it right up to Glenorchy. And at Windsor Park, and the last score we got there, it must be near three-quarter time. The scoring's dried up a bit in the conditions, and it's 10-4-64 to Launceston, 3 goals straight, 18 to Clarence. Got a score in that game we've been following in the NTFA. That's in the South Launceston Bridge North game. South's 8-6-54, Bridge North 5-8-38. That's at three-quarter time. And the last score I had from down at Hutchins was at Scotch Oakburn, led by 6 points at half-time. Back here, some of the team stats to three-quarter time, thanks to Dave Gruber here, our statistician. In that quarter, the hit-outs were 12-7 Lauderdale's way, 38-20 over the day so far. Clearances, 11-7 Lauderdale's way, 27-22 in the course of the game. Inside 50s, Lauderdale dominated that quarter 15-8, and they lead 38-31 over the day. Only 2 marks inside 50 in that quarter, 1 apiece to each team. That's only 6 over the day, so that tells you something about the conditions here. And the free kicks 24 apiece, with Lauderdale getting 11-5 in that quarter. So Chris Sayers out there, and we'll get a word from him in just a moment. But Baz, how are you seeing things? Do you give North Launceston any chance?
Well, I don't think you can give them a chance at this point in time, though. They were certainly in the game at half-time, there's no doubt about that. But that third quarter was all Lauderdale, really, and North Launceston under the pump. Every time they took delivery of the ball, the hustling and the bustling of Lauderdale was just supreme, really. And now with Lee out of the game, and Smith was so dominant early, and he's just continuing to keep on keeping on. I think he'll run the game out okay for them. And they've just got a dominant midfield, haven't they, at the moment, led by Bryce Walsh. He's terrific, and so too is Sam Siddons in that centre, along with Robbie McManus, and also their half-back line has been just superb all day. And every time North Launceston have tried to make an attacking move, that half-back line has just repelled it, and they've worked in numbers, and they've delivered the ball a lot better than what North Launceston have. In fact, North, time and time again, have tried to switch the ball, and I think it's only paid off on 1 or 2 occasions. Most occasions, they didn't even hit the targets. And that allowed Lauderdale to swoop on the ball and just bring it back into their forward line again. So North, I really don't know what they can do. I think they're just having one of those days that conditions are probably not suiting a lot of their smaller, quicker players. They're just not probably wet weather players like a lot of those Lauderdale players are. There's just Lauderdale players that just love these conditions, I would have thought.
You mentioned the back line there, Baz. Some names there. Josh McGuinness, I think he was great that quarter. Trupp has hardly done anything wrong all day. He's nullified Bart McCulloch, and he's now moved on to Cody Lowe, and he's had the better of him. Also back there, Wiggins has been fantastic. Gilby is the other one I was trying to think of. Josh Gilby's been great. So they've really formed a brick wall across there, and North Launceston found it very difficult to score. Just the 2 behinds in that quarter, 6-11-47 to 2-10-22. So I'm trying to see if we've got Chris down there. The umbrella's down. So, Chris, what do you got for us?
Yeah, the weather's picked up. I don't know, the sun's not shining, but it's stopped raining for the moment. I don't think it's really going to help much because it's still quite not wet underfoot, but quite soft underfoot. Taylor Whitford, the thing that went against them then was 0 stoppages inside 50. He wasn't happy with that, but of course, as you'd expect, they're not giving up, and they will push in the last quarter, work harder. And I'm sure Darren Winter would have told us his players exactly the same thing as well. And as Barry said, there's no wind, so there is no wind advantage to either end. And let's just see if North can come back in this last quarter.
Take a big effort, Chris. We'll talk to you again later in the game.
Yep. Okay. Thanks.
That's Chris Sayer down there on the boundary line for City Park Radio. 2-10-22 plays 6-11-47. We're back here next week. North Launceston up against Glenorchy. Thanks to our sponsors, Andrew Doyle, Telstra Stores, Quadrant and Kings Meadows. Open at 11 to 3 on Sundays. Thank you for your support. As the umpire looks around to make sure all's clear, here's Barry Triffett for City Park Radio and the TSL live stream.
Well, North have strung a change here. They put Dakota Bannister into the ruck. He'd be one of the shorter ruckmen you would find. And McCulloch has gone back to his compulsory full forward positions. And North Launceston through Ponting tried to take possession of the ball from that bounce down. But he's been set upon by 2 or 3 Lauderdale players. And guess who one of them was? It was Bryce Walsh. As they put the ball up just inside the square, Smith tries to get the ball over to Bell Chambers, Bell Chambers ends up with it. Kicks it now still in centre field. Oh, Davies. Ball bounced awkwardly for him. Taken away here now by Kiranua. He puts it out a little bit wider looking for Baker. Baker running onto the ball there now. In pursuit of him is Edgar. Edgar can only tackle. Gets back there now with Bell Chambers. Ball goes towards their half-forward line. North Launceston player's been tackled far too high. And Cox Goodger is the recipient of the free kick on half-back for the Northern Bombers.
Got a bit of injury here to Kiranua. We'll keep an eye on that one.
And he's kicked again to turnover, and it's gone straight to Josh Williams. They've done that on too many occasions, North Launceston today. There's the kick in towards the half-forward line. Richter Solder's there for North, gets it back to Event. He kicks it out of defence, ends up with Jaden Harris. He kicks it also out of defence to one of North's better players in Braden Van Bruin. He's been pretty strong and consistent all day across half-back. Here's the ruckman at the moment. In Dakota Bannister, he marks it on half-back, kicks it to the broadcasting side of the ground. Ball goes to the other ruckman in Smith. He's tackled unfairly, or the umpire says he's fair enough to get rid of that ball. Looked like he dropped it to me, but the ball's socketed off the ground here by Whitford. Anderton's there for Lauderdale, then Whitford through frustration has just hit Anderton in the neck area, really, and the umpire saw a good view of that. So I don't know why he didn't give him a free kick, but there you go, he didn't. He still invited the boundary umpire to throw it in. Totally unnecessary, and from your coach, you may not like that to be happening at this point in time as the ball goes back in to where he takes it once again as Walsh. Walsh for Lauderdale kicks it towards half forward, and a good strong mark has been taken by Richter Solder, who's also been fairly stern across that half-back line for the Northern Bombers. Gets it on a little bit further to Connie Young. Connie Young gets it outside. North Launceston drop yet another ball in the turnover through Event. Gets it back to Harris. Harris gets it to centre wing. Ends up back with Event. He drops it again. It's like a slippery bar of soap for Event at the moment as he is set upon by a couple of Lauderdale players, and there'll be a bounce down just outside 50. 2.5 minutes. Final term, 47 Lauderdale, North 22. Here's Dave Mohr for City Park Radio.
So, low scoring start to the quarter as Bryce Walsh does well again. In fact, that's Burge this time. Sam Burge breaks away from the contest. Kicks up towards the goal square. Chance here for Matt McGuinness off the ground. No problem from the young devil, Matthew McGuinness. He kicks it off the carpet, and it puts the margin out now beyond 5 goals and insurmountable, you'd think, for North Launceston. 7-11-53 to 2-10-22. And the three McGuinness brothers, talented, 42, 43 and 44 are the Guernsey numbers. And I tell you what, they're valuable footballers. And Matt McGuinness spent most of the year with the Devils. He's up and around the mark for drafting this year. And he gets himself a goal early in this last quarter, Baz.
Yes, and didn't hesitate to just soccer it off the ground. He just stood, balanced, and just went bang, and through it went.
So the lights now going very prominent. It's almost like a night game here. It's only 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Smith does well. There's a whistle on play. Player legged. So it's going to go the way of Ponting. Josh Ponting has Tepper. Goes to him now. Thinks about playing on now. He does. He gets around on that left foot. Keeps it low. Doing well there is Jeremiah Perkins. Off the ground. Back here towards Walsh. Walsh. Nice little kick to McManus. Gee, they've been good this Lauderdale midfield. McManus. Kicks wider. And it's cut off there. Kick was meant for Burge, but Ponting got there first. Kicks it nicely to Donley. Donley. So now with Gilby, who does well, to Burge. Look away handball. Bell Chambers. Kicks it up the line there. Ben McGuinness front position. At the back doing well there is Connie Young. Little handball to Richter Solder. His kick's not great. Cut out by Wiggins. Now with Bryce Walsh. Baz is going to do the votes later. So I think Bryce might be in there somewhere. Alex Saunders. Handball to Burge. Knock away to McManus. McManus has a man here in Williams. He can cruise in and have a shot to goal. Josh Williams, the late inclusion today. He hits the post. So Josh Williams, he came in the side for Nat Franklin. And it's one behind 7-12. 54 to 2-10-22. And it's a North Launceston ball in the back pocket.
Connie Young with the ball, kicks it out of the back pocket, kicks it in towards Whitford, who fumbles. And that's been the story for a lot of North Launceston players today. That North Launceston player also had the ball smothered off the boot, and then they give away a free kick. Dakota Bannister was the player that gave the free kick away. So Lauderdale with the ball now on half forward, outer side of the ground, kicks in towards the top of the goal square, and I think the mark's been paid to McGuinness, who gets the handball off. Or as the umpire said, no, he got it off the Birds.
It's Ben McGuinness, Baz, I think.
But the umpire said, no, there's no advantage. They amaze me. Sometimes they pay advantage, sometimes they don't. But he must have already been running in to line him up. So Ben McGuinness will have his opportunity to kick what his brother did about 30 seconds ago, and that's his first goal for the day, and give Lauderdale an unassailable lead. North Launceston stagnant since half-time.
Just watching the replay there, high contact against Cody Lowe.
Here is the Ben McGuinness shot for goal, very deliberate, taking plenty of time over it, and he likes it off the boot. First goal for Ben McGuinness this afternoon. 8 goals, 12-60 Lauderdale. North Launceston 2-10-22. And we've played 6.5 minutes of the final term.
Okay, this is really threatening to blow out a bit here now in North Launceston. This is unfamiliar territory, especially here in their home turf. It's a great confidence boost for Lauderdale. They've got Nick Dodge still to come back in the team. Of course, Nat Franklin we mentioned as a late withdrawal today. So they can only get stronger as we head towards September. North Launceston will have some thinking to do. We're not right north off though. They're a pretty seasoned combination. It's found a little bit wanting in today's game. Ball up. Now we've got Cody Lowe on the ruck, and Hayden Smith just takes it out of the air again. His handball's not great though. Shark by Egger. Might have got high contact. In there is Ponting, who's never stopped trying today, along with Cox Goodger. They just probably haven't had enough good players across the ground. It's been left to too few, unfortunately, for the Northern Bombers. More even team performance from Lauderdale. Low, and Smith wins this, but it's Shark this time by Whitford. Over the shoulder there, Carlton Wadley will get a free kick against Josh McGuinness. Carlton Wadley off here to Ponting. Takes the mark far side. Thinks about switch. Be invited to play on in a moment. He is now. Kicks high. Up here looking for Donnelly. A lot of fists in there. One in front there was Anderton. Spills out of play. 8 minutes gone. And scoreboard in the background there. 8-12-60 Lauderdale. North Launceston 2-10-22. Haven't kicked a goal since the second quarter. A bit of quietness comes over the UTAS Stadium. As out here comes to Siggins. Gets robbed of the ball. Robbie McManus. Taken well by Taylor Whitford. Can he lift the team here? Inside out kick. Taylor Whitford misses near side. One behind. 2-11-23. 8-12-60. And it's nearly 9 minutes into the last quarter here on City Park Radio and the TSL live stream. Here's Barry Triffett.
Things are just not going right for North Launceston. Taylor Whitford would have stitched that one up on probably 9 out of 10 occasions, but not to be today. And there's the kick in now from Lauderdale. It's on the broadcasting side of the ground. And Matt McGuinness is on all fours. Here's Anderton out of defence now. Kicks towards the interchange. I think it might be out of bounds on the full. It is just over the line on the full. So North Launceston through Connor Young will relieve on centre wing. Broadcasting side right in front of interchange. There's his kick now towards the half-forward line. Off the top of the pack there, Lowe gathers it, gets a handball out to Van Bruin. He drops the ball as he goes to kick it, although he is under the pump again, as has been the case all day. Trupp got the ball then back to Anderton. Anderton's been tackled far too high, and he'll take a relieving kick in the last line of defence for Lauderdale. They've just had a heap of good players all day, Lauderdale, around midfield in particular. Kicks it towards the big lumbering Smith, who's really starting to tire now. He's put a manful effort in, taken by Davies of North. There's Trupp again, gets it off to Anderton. Anderton gets it back to McGuinness. Here come Lauderdale out of defence now towards the half centre wing position where Ben McGuinness almost takes the mark and then tries to get the handball off to Smith, but the big fellow's getting that tired he couldn't move. He just stood and watched. Now he's wandering back because the ball's gone out of bounds, and he'll throw, and there'll be a throw-in on centre wing.
Windsor Park 12-4-76. Launceston. Clarence haven't scored in the second half so far. 3 goals straight, 18.
Fairly accurate kicking down there, a lot more accurate than what it is here at UTAS, as the ball's taken by Smith on the butter up, but it's gone out of bounds on the full, and there'll be a free kick to North Launceston's, and it's Connor Young again, who took the last one out on the full, so he's racking up positions by getting balls from out on the full as he kicks towards centre wing. Over the top of the pack there now is Ponting, and the ball goes to Van Bruin, gets it off to Cox Goodger, back to Lowe. Lowe gets the handball now in towards Curran. Curran kicks towards inside 50. Ball bounces back where Ponting follows downfield, gets it off to Cox Goodger. They're trying their heart out North, but things are just not working for them. The hurried kick ends up with Smith. The big fella just waits for it. Kicks towards McGuinness. Pushed away from him there by the North Launceston player in Van Bruin. The ball goes towards the boundary line, and there'll be a throw-in right in front of the broadcasting position at the 11 and a quarter minute mark of the final term.
Bryce Walsh, he loves a stoush, or Connie Young. You got to make sure you don't make contact with the head. And Bryce Walsh slams his fist in the turf. Why wasn't that a free kick? Play on. Alex Davies confronted by Burge, out to Whitford. Big tackle by Karanua. Now to Cox Goodger. He never has to stop trying today. He's quite tired now. He's just been running all day. There's a little kick from Raglione. Now to Bannister. His handball forward to the ball. Little handball by Bennett. Ends up there with Jackie Avent. And clear to the far side. Chance for North Launceston. As a short kick comes in, Baker does well. Diving in, Foon releases Avent. Kicks inside 50. This is where they've been falling down. Chance now for Carlton Wadley, I beg your pardon. Wadley snaps on goal. That's a goal for North Launceston. So a bit of persistence there, and Carlton Wadley did well, showed a lot of poise, put on the right boot, and from about 30 directly in the front has snapped it through. Third goal for North Launceston. They're 3-11-29, Lauderdale 8-12-60. So good work by the Bombers. I mentioned just before he kicked that goal, they've been falling it down inside 50. With a brick wall-like defence so far today of Lauderdale, but they got an opportunity then, and young Carlton Wadley has scored the third goal, and I suppose Taylor Whitford Baz will just want them to run this game out and score a few goals late, just get as close as they can.
Yes, and the sting's gone right out of the game, hasn't it? It's just dull, overcast, no wind, no rain, no spark in the game at the moment. It's just running out time. As Lauderdale have the ball in the centre of the ground again, they kick towards the half-forward line. And Van Bruin almost takes yet another mark for North, but the ball's been socked off the ground inside 50. Event runs to it, and he has trouble picking the ball up again like he has all day. Somehow he just got boot the ball, or did he? No, it's not a good disposal according to the umpire, so there'll be a free kick to Lauderdale. Right on 50. And Jack Event, he's just fumbled with the ball all day. He's just had one of those dirty days, and Alex Saunders is right on 50. He'll try and give himself a little bit of room. Kick with the left boot. It's swinging back towards the top of the goal square. What will they do? They try and punch it through the North defenders, and they're successful. It's through for a minor score. 8-13-61 Lauderdale. North 3-11-29 into the second half of the final term, and the kick in has been marked by Jeremiah Perkins, and he will have a deliberate shot for goal. I was looking at the scoreboard and didn't actually see the kick.
It was an intercepted mark, Baz. It was a low kick looking for a target. And Perkins, who's come up from the back line, he's played most of the day in defence. Did it beautifully, marked strongly on his chest, which saw it on the replay there. The kick was looking for James Curran, but Perkins was there.
Opportunity for the backman then to kick a goal. He kicked it like a backman, as we so often see when they do come down and have a deliberate shot for goal. In fact, it's only just made the distance from about 40 metres out through for a minor score. Well, the same attempted kick this time's come off because Bannister has it in half-back, then runs himself into a wall of players, and it's picked up by McGuinness. That's Matt McGuinness, and he kicks his second goal in the final term. And Lauderdale just running away with this now. North Launceston just making mistake after mistake. They'll want to forget this game and just think about next week, about 5 minutes after this one finishes, I reckon. Lauderdale 9-14-68. North Launceston 3-11-29.
In fact, with the shoulder strapping there, it was Cody Lobaz, and I got caught out too because Cody's been playing up forward all day, but of course he's in the ruck at the moment. And he was the one who handballed, or tried to handball over the top. Matt McGuinness read it beautifully, and he's kicked his second of this last quarter. And it's the margin back out to 39 points. Yeah, Cody Lowe has now taken the ruck duties. So Bart McCulloch, I'm trying to spot Bart. Can you see anywhere, Baz?
No.
So he might be another one off the ground at the moment. We'll keep an eye on that one. I didn't notice him go off the ground, but I don't think he's out there. Tom Donnelly's playing full forward at the moment, holding the ball here. As the free kick goes to Sharonega, who picks up the ball, wheels and goes, kicks inside 50. Mark's taken. Nicely there by Will Edmonds. Hands the ball off. Cox Goodger from 48 delivers. And, you know, things aren't going right for North Launceston when BCG doesn't convert those ones. He's off to the right. That's their 12th behind, 3-12-30 to 9-14-68. So, I don't know if Chris is still about down there, but we might see if we can get something on Bart McCulloch. The two big guns off the ground, Alex Lee and Bart McCulloch. And, of course, next week has got big implications as well. As they play Glenorchy, they got some tall timber. Now Siggins kicks it towards the boundary line. Matt McGuinness having a big last quarter. Stretches out and takes the mark on his chest. Low trajectory kick, not a great one. And Aaron Richter-Solder takes a strong mark up against Matt Elliott, who's been a bit quiet this afternoon. Another sliding mark to Cox Goodger. So they're probably down to 2 rotations at the moment, North Launceston, which is another issue for them. Van Buren kicks to the far side and finds James Curran, who's been pretty good today. He goes further wide to Whitford. Whitford on the boundary line. Nice little kick here. Overrunning it though was Edmonds. Tepper gets his kick smothered by Trupp. Kicks the ball off the ground nicely towards Walsh. Walsh stands and kicks with the left. Up here looking for Saunders, 2 against him. Richter Solder kicks off the ground. Karen Ewers bumped off the contest by Cox Goodger. As Nick Baker got one high. He'll take the free kick. Former North Hobart player. Played with the Devils this year. Son of Tony. Ex-Longford boy as Nick Baker kicks inside 50. Matt Elliott, the boy from Smithton, he can't pick it up. Jack Event does well. He kicks towards defensive 50. Fletcher Bennett to Ponting, who clears for North Launceston.
And Ponting's kick goes round the outer wing, and that's Donnelly a long way down from full forward. He's marked on centre wing on the far side of the ground. There's a kick now towards the half-forward line in front of the scoreboard. Bounces awkwardly, goes over the back of the pack. North Launceston with possession of the ball. The hands go back in the Donnelly direction, who's run right down from centre wing. He kicks it just inside, but it's been marked back there by Ben McGuinness. And the McGuinness boys have all played well in the second half of the game. They're a little bit quieter earlier.
Yep.
But they've been really good, all 3 of them, from half-time onwards. The kick goes towards back line. They're taking the ball out in numbers. Heavey, been another good contributor for them most of the day as well. He'll go over the top to another good player in Anderton. He's got it on half back there now as he kicks in towards another good player for them in Nick Baker. So they've got a lot of good players, Lauderdale, when you start to look at the better players in the dying minutes of the game. And there's certainly possibly one of the better ones in Bryce Walsh as he kicks it in towards half forward. Taken by Richter Solder, who has worked hard across half back for North. Some of the kicking of North today, they'd be real disappointed with. They've missed their targets time and time again. It's just happened again. Cox Goodger, there's another missed target as he gets it out towards Donnelly. He missed the target again with a handball. Now he kicks it with the right boot. It's not long enough really to award a mark. It's play on quickly. Ball goes towards half forward, and Ed Trupp, who's been a good player across the last line of defence for Lauderdale, marks in front of the scoreboard that tells us Lauderdale is 68, North Launceston to 30. We've played 19 and a half minutes of the final term, almost into red time, and they haven't been long quarters today, so only 2 or 3 minutes to go, you would suggest. North Launceston with the ball out there, and the kick comes in, ends up here with Tepper. Tepper with the left boot from 40 metres out. It's going to sail over the back of the pack and through for a major score. He's been working hard most of the day, Jordan Tepper, and he's kicked 2 goals to be North Launceston's only multiple goal kicker. And it's in the dying minutes of the last quarter here at UTAS. North Launceston moved to 4 goals, 12-36. Lauderdale 9-14-68, 20 minutes we've played.
That's the score at Windsor Park. So getting towards the end of that game, it's 13-4-82 Launceston. Clarence 4 goals straight 24, so they've kicked a goal in that last quarter, and that's about 15 and a half minutes into the last quarter. Repeating earlier today, Glenorchy, they scored 10-8-68 and defeating the Tigers on 7-13-55. Okay, so the ball's back in the middle, as Baz said, not long to go. As we're in there, time on now. Hayden Smith goes up unopposed. Tom Donnelly now rucking. Taking it away nicely here is Cox Goodger. Heavily disguised as Jordan Tepper, who kicks up towards half forward, towards Ponting. And that's Wish Wilson, I think, there on the ball. He lets it go out of bounds. He does. Hard to find too many passengers today for Lauderdale. Good team effort. They lead by 32. Listen to City Park Radio, 103.7, 96.5. And on the TSL live stream, as Ponting's tackled to the ground. In goes Hayden Smith. He's scored a try there on the boundary line. Yep, no Bart McCulloch out there, no Alex Lee. We suspect Alex Lee's got some sort of knee injury. How bad? We'll have to assess during the week. As Smith does it again. This time out here towards Burge. Burge does well. Chaos ball towards 50. Connor Young's tackled by Karanua. He's not escaping. It's a great tackle, Karanua, for a man of his size. Boy from the Northern Territory. Came over last year as a group of players from the Northern Territory, including Timmy Mosquito. And Henry's stuck around for a second season this year with the Southern Bombers. Here it goes now as Davies is tackled. He's for the high tackle, which when it wasn't given, he was in a little bit of trouble there, but there'll be a ball up 40 metres out. Final score at Youngtown. Bridge North got up by 2 points. 10-9-69 to South Launceston, 10-7-67. Big last quarter from the Parrots. Out it goes here towards Elliott. So the handball comes sideways. Bryce Walsh gets around his opponent, Richter Solder. Charges towards 48. Oh, Bryce Walsh, is that the goal of the day? It is. And he puts his arms out to the fans in the stand that have made the trip down or up from Lauderdale. Great goal, Bryce Walsh. That's his second for the day. And that is goal of the day, Baz. For a man who has put in so much effort through the course of the contest, he got himself clear and just inside 50 on an angle. He was sort of almost heading in the opposite direction to goal. Had to steady himself, and fantastic result there for Bryce Walsh.
Well, if they got the tracker on him, he's probably covered 15 kilometres today, and he ran away from them then. There was nobody could go with him, so that just tells you how fit he is, and the workload he's put in today has been phenomenal.
You know, I talked earlier about his injury worries, and you think maybe just that bit of time off, just a few weeks off, and he's freshened up. He's had a great experience over at Augusta, and he's now setting himself for a big second half of the year.
From the ball down as Donnelly gets the tap down, North Launceston free kick, and I think it looks like Jordan Tepper in the centre of the field there. No, yes. Anyway, North Launceston with the ball as the kick goes towards the half-forward line here. Off the top of the pack, ends up there with Bannister. He gets it out a little bit further to Wadley. Wadley chips it inside, and again they miss the target. Taken by the defence there of Burge. It's Ponting with the ball now of North, gives it to Whitford. Whitford kicks and misses the target in the forward pocket again. It goes over the back of the pack, and the ball goes towards the boundary line, and I think the umpire there, the boundary umpire, will be the winner, and he's adjudicated it's out of bounds, so he'll throw it in. No, what's going on? That looks like the umpire might be taking
a book
out.
I wonder if that might have been a sling tackle. Yeah, it was a really fierce tackle there on Lockie Cocker. And he's going to get the free kick, in fact. It's just a very vigorous tackle, and he just got thrown to the ground. And, of course, you can't hear. We've got the replay here, Baz.
Right.
Yeah, he just got thrown to the ground by Jeremiah Perkins. Young Lockie Cocker.
So it looks like he's booked him as well.
Yep.
Right.
Dangerous sling tackle.
So here, anyway, he'll have a deliberate shot. He's only 10 metres out, deep in the forward pocket, and hits the post. So the young man, young Cocker, a minor score there. He's certainly not hurt or anything from that sling tackle. He just jumped up, went back for his free kick. But had any problem whatsoever. 25 minutes almost elapsed here in the final term. Smith, the target. He's getting very tired in the ruck there now. Ends up with Young, gets it off to Harris of North. He kicks towards half forward, and it's all Lauderdale in the last line back there again. And the mark's been taken by Ryan Wiggins, one of their good half-backers.
He's got the tats on the right arm as Wiggins as he kicks it out of defensive 50. Donnelly rises high at the for the ball's Karanua towards the boundary line. Well done, Raglioni. Tries to find Burge. Burge has got nowhere to go. Tired players. And Raglioni, I'll tell you what, he should be in the World Cup after that. He's found his teammate too in Bellchambers, if he can pick it up. Great skill, Raglioni. Bellchambers eventually gets the handball away to Elliott, who's got nowhere to go either, and is happy to see the ball over the boundary line. Your boundary throw in. And I'll tell you what, you don't want to look at the AFL score, Groobs, our Hawks supporter, because the Hawks are in front, but it's real close with not long to go. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
As Elliott now has got the ball, he's tackled by Tepper and Connie Young to a standstill. 26 minutes gone, dying minutes this game. It's doubling of the score here because North Launceston's got 37, Lauderdale 74. My maths tells me that's double. As Hayden Smith tries to take it out of the rack, in fact does. Release the handball to Bellchambers, gets a quick kick under pressure. Inside 50 now. Jaden Harris is there, picked up by Burge. Handball to space. Karanoia tries to kick it out of mid-air. Nearly does so. There's a tackle laid there on Harris. We're still about 30 metres out, 35 metres out from the Lauderdale goal. Don't forget TSL footy next Saturday. North have got to bounce back. They've got Glenorchy. Big contest here at UTAS Stadium. One of their last home games of the year here. Their last home game is against North Hobart at Invermay Park. We're doing that one, Baz.
Right.
Have to see if you're available, maybe on that date. It's a ball up. As Hayden Smith gets it down. Ball spills to the side of the contest. Everyone waiting here for the siren at the moment. Not far away. 27 and a quarter minutes gone. So the top of the ladder clash was billed as who's going to be premiership favourite, and looks like it's Lauderdale at this stage from this result we're seeing today. Little kick from Whitford spills out of bounds. It's not deliberate, says the umpire. It's very dark and gloomy now. It's a bit hard to see the mountains in the distance. Seagulls hovering. Boundary throw in. Hayden Smith front position. It's pulled off the ball as Siggins. Cox Goodger can't escape the contest. Doing well as Bellchambers released Siggins. Classy. Siren sounds before Siggins can launch on goal. He misses anyway, and that's the end of the game here at UTAS Stadium, and a convincing final scoreline. North Launceston 4-13-37. They are defeated by Lauderdale 10-14-74. So a couple of goals to North Launceston that last quarter, but Lauderdale kicked 4 of their own. So the final margin is 37 points. As players shake hands out there on the arena. Baz, the goal kickers.
Yes, for Lauderdale, Bryce Walsh, Sam Burge and also Matt McGuinness all kicked 2 goals apiece, and then singles to Ben McGuinness, Robbie McManus, Henry Kiranua and Alex Saunders. And for North Launceston, their multiple goal kicker was Jordan Tepper with 2. Singles to Carlton Wadley and Will Edmonds.
Okay, so 37 points is the final margin here at UTAS Stadium. And it's great to see the players lining up to shake hands. Baz, just some thoughts on the game?
Yes, well, it was a game of 2 halves, really, wasn't it? The first half, there was nothing in it. Both teams were under the pump. They were defending extremely well.
Baz, we're going to get a quick word, I think, here with Darren Winter, so we'll get straight down to Chris Sayer.
Yes, I'm with Darren down here. Do you reckon you've destroyed the myth that this is a fortress for North Launceston?
I think the conditions didn't really lend to really good football, so maybe if we come up and do it in a nice dry day, we might get a little bit back on it, but no, I don't think so.
Yeah, but Lauderdale seemed to handle the conditions better.
Yeah, look, we went in with a pretty clear focus on how we wanted to play, and the conditions certainly had a big impact on that. We didn't want to try and run the ball too much and play cute football, so we just kept bombing it forward, and obviously we've got some very good crummers up forward that can get in and out of traffic pretty well.
And more players to come back in too.
Yeah, we've got a couple out. So when Nat Franklin pulled out this morning, which was a bit disappointing, and Yeah, got Dodge and Aussie Shore. So there's a few that come back in. So yeah, we'll get strengthened up a bit.
And finally, a week off next week. What have you got planned for the bye?
Absolutely nothing at all. We had 7 state players, so they're pretty keen to have a spell, and we'll all go away from the club. And I'm going fishing for about 3 or 4 days, so I won't be around the club much. That's for sure.
I bet you'll be keeping an eye on North Launceston and Glenorchy, though.
That would be very interesting. I think it'll be should be a good game.
Thanks for the chat and well done today. Yes, that was Darren Winter, of course, and looking at Bart McCulloch, he had ice at the bottom of his calf, Dave, so we'll see how that plans out for the week.
Yep, so the tall timber there. Chris, thanks for your efforts down the boundary today.
That's fine, yeah, it's a slightly drizzle here, so it's cleared up a little bit, but the rain sort of stopped, I think. Yep,
well, good work, and thanks for that interview there with Darren Winter. So we've got the final score there, 10-14-74 to 4-13-37. I'll just go through these stats, Baz, and I'll get you a pick out of 3, 2 and 1, and we'll go through the better players. So I'll just go through the stats. Thanks to Dave Gruber. We're finishing up here in just 2 or 3 minutes. The hit-outs today was 17-2 in that last quarter. So you can see once McCulloch and Alex Lee went off, Hayden Smith was just dominant then, 55-22 over the day. Magnificent effort from Hayden Smith. The clearances, of course, followed that, with Lauderdale winning 13-6 in that last quarter. Inside 50s, North Launceston actually had the better in that last quarter, 11-9. But Lauderdale 47-42 over the day. So North Launceston certainly had plenty of opportunities, but a lot of those entries were quite shallow. And that Lauderdale half-back line were pretty dominant. 3 marks inside 50 to Lauderdale in that last quarter, and only 2 marks inside 50 for the whole day for North Launceston. That tells a bit of a tale there. Free kicks 32-26 North Launceston's way over the day. Final score 74-37 as the girls are coming out on the ground. Baz, your better players, and 3, 2, 1, and we'll wrap it up in just a moment.
Yes, and for Lauderdale it was a game where a lot of players had 4 good quarters of football. The first half of this game, if you joined us late, was extremely tight and very eventful from a backman's point of view, because both defensive lines were really on top, and in the second half then Lauderdale ran away. And when they did, some of those players that were extremely good in the first half continued to dominate the game in that second half. So in my opinion, some of their better players, just running down the numbered list, Alex Saunders and Sam Siggins were both extremely good. Jacob Gilby was also very handy across the back line. Hayden Smith was manful in the ruck all day. Ryan Wiggins also, Robbie McManus, Mitch Anderton and Bryce Walsh was sensational, and so too was Sam Birds, the 2 blonde bombshells. Josh McGuinness was probably the better of the 3 McGuinness boys, although Jeremiah Matt picked up a couple of goals in the last quarter. And for North Launceston, much harder to find players that were really good contributors for them all day. There was a lot of players in and out of the game. Some of their higher profile players probably didn't quite play to their top standard. Brad Cox-Goodger was in and out. I almost thought at one stage he may have been carrying a bit of an injury or was just a little sore. Jordan Tepper, I thought, was a good young player for them. Fairly impressed with him today. Liam Davies works his backside off around the ball. Across the half-back line, Braden Van Bruin and also Aaron Richter-Solder were stout defenders for North all day, although they were up against the numbers game when it went into the forward line for Lauderdale. Tom Donnelly was swung all over the ground and did pretty well. Josh Ponting, probably not one of his best games, but certainly in and out of the game and did some useful work at times. And through their youngsters in Fletcher Bennett, James Curran and Will Edmonds all contributed throughout the game as well. But when you were looking for the better players on the ground, Dave, I think you could probably have 5 or 6 of Lauderdale's players in the top 5 or 6 on the ground. And I thought Bryce Walsh was outstanding, so I finished up by giving him 3 votes. And Hayden Smith, I've given 2 votes to. That first half, if you can reflect back on that, when Lee was in the ruck and then McCulloch was going into it, I know both those players did get injured throughout the game, but he was sensational in that first half and just kept on keeping on. He was a target for them most of the game. They just kept going through him. I gave him 2. And you could have gave 1 vote to any of those backmen across the back, but I thought Mitch Anderton was terrific across that half-back line. He was really good in that first half when you reflect back on it, and he did his job. He took his forwards out of the play, but a little unlucky some of the other backmen not to get the 1 vote. But in a day where Lauderdale, I thought, was really more superior than North Launceston. I gave all votes to 3 Lauderdale players.
Credit today too to the umpires that they did a really good job in trying conditions.
Yeah, what was the final numbers? 32 and 26.
26.
Yeah, almost a world record, isn't it? But that's the way you should umpire under these conditions. And I said it early that they were umpiring really, really well. They was stopping the packs from forming by giving obvious free kicks. They wasn't just picking something out of a pack, but they were giving obvious free kicks, and that was opening up the packs and kept the game flowing.
Other scores today in the TSL, it was Glenorchy 10-8-68 defeating the Tigers 7-13-55, and it's all over now at Windsor Park as well. Big win of the Blues there, 13-4-82, defeating Clarence 4-26. So they've just opened up the gap there over the Tigers. Well, thanks, boys. Baz, we've got a couple of points with you, I think, later in the season, so thanks for being with us again.
No worries, Dave. Nice to be here.
No worries. Thanks, Groobs.
No worries, mate. See you next week.
No problem. We'll be back next week. And thanks to Chris there. He's giving me the thumbs up. Thanks to some other people. First of all, Chris back in the studio. Fantastic effort as usual. We had a couple of games this weekend in the TSL and also the NBL 1. So thanks very much there. To Chris, Justin Wildsmith, who's been producing the stream down in Hobart. Thanks, Justin, for your efforts. Thanks to Ben Donaldson on the camera here. Great job as usual. And thanks to the staff here at UTAS Stadium and Eagle Security for allowing them to use their office here at UTAS Stadium. That's all for now. And the top of the table clash today, it was Lauderdale 10-14-74 defeated North Launceston 4-13-37. Bye for now.